Hello, good morning and welcome to a brand new week of brand new opportunities. Like I always say, you have to be prepared to take advantage. Wherever you are, thanks for making us part of your morning. Let's run you through how the day will go. We would obviously start with the AM news. After that, we'll bring you the AM sports where Muftar Nabila will be telling you what happened in the world of sports over the weekend where a lot of teams were winning, a lot of teams were also losing. We'll tell you much more about that. And after that, we'll delve into what the papers are reporting, who are joining us for breakfast today. Now, Hamza Suhuyini is lawyer and member of the NDC's communications team. Abronye is former president of GJA. Dr. Evans Dia is political commentator and researcher. They will be joining us for breakfast. And then we delve into our big stories for today. The New Patriotic Party is to launch a protest on 23rd September on what they describe as state-sponsored harassment over the arrest and continued detention of Kwame Bafo, popularly known as Abronye DC. Last week, a judge remanded Abronye into custody for 1 more week, sparking a legal debate on the position of the law for an act of misdemeanor. We hear from the political party, then also to Hamite in the Upper West region, where rampaging youth bent down the vehicle of the Ghana Immigration Service yesterday at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border over an alleged complicity of the immigration personnel in aiding the entry of some Burkinabe gunmen, leaving 1 person dead amid the tensions. We go for update from our correspondent of the matter. So join us with your views and thoughts via phone and social media handles for all of that. Remember, we'll also bring you, it's a Monday, so we'll bring you that particular social media segment where we'll tell you what's happening on trends. AM Show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. And it's my honor, together with Emefa Adeti, the soon-to-be, lawyer, to bring you the show. So do stay with us from now to 10 a.m. Let's take you through how the day will go and continue to build Mother Ghana. Well, we'll start off with the AM news with Noella Karien Yale. So thanks for making us part of your morning. Do stay.
Hello there and good morning to the news on the AM show. It's a Monday morning. My name is Noella Kareniali, and in our top story, Minority Leader in Parliament Alexander Afenyomarkin has warned that the governing National Democratic Congress NDC is fast losing the goodwill of Ghanaians due to what he describes as the government's failure to deliver on key promises. Addressing students of the University of Media, Arts and Communications, Mr. Afenyomarkin said the high rate of unemployment, the government's inability to tackle illegal mining, galamsey, and the lack of a clear roadmap for the much-touted 24-hour economy initiative are eroding public confidence in the administration. He accused the government of prioritizing rhetoric over action, stressing that Ghanaians expect solutions, not political slogans.
Politics, branding, packaging is everything. So if you are aspiring to be a political strategist, take this from me. Branding, packaging is everything. So within 8 years, our friends could come and create a deficit of 2.1 million for us. And even our mighty 88, they have managed to snatch 1 to make it mighty 87. But all too soon, they have forgotten themselves. They have started sliding and they don't see it. They have forgotten the jobs issue, the 24-hour economy, they seem to have forgotten. The Galamsey, they promised they are going to deal with it. They have forgotten. Central region, the water is not flowing. Water's bodies polluted. The gold bond that was set up, beautiful idea. But I warned them in Parliament that it was going to promote Galamsey, and that is what is happening. Gentlemen and ladies, situation is getting out of hand, and that is a reality. And our friends should not take that great image they have for granted. It's getting out of hand. By January next year, the youth will begin to ask about the jobs. At that point, it's no more about going to say this or that. It's not about the song, and it's not about anything again. You can't continue to blame the Akufo-Addo government anymore. They will need the deliverables. Today, if you are a political opponent and you are not careful, you get arrested for criticizing the government. They say causing fear and panic. These are the things that politicians take for granted when they get power. And in the end, before they realize it's too late to recover.
Family and the Christo Asafo Church have confirmed the passing of Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka, one of Ghana's technology pioneers, announcing that he died peacefully on Thursday, September 11, 2025. In a statement signed by his daughter, Sarah Adjo-Asafo, former MP for Domi Kwabenya, the family described Apostle Safo as a true genius, the beacon of hope for many, and a father to the fatherless. It's quote, my colleague Stephen Mensah was at the family residence and filed this report.
It's been about 7 hours since the official communication from the family of the late Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka announcing his demise. In a statement signed by his daughter Adjo-Asafo Kantanka, the family indicates that the man, often referred to as the Star of Africa, died peacefully in his sleep. With profound sorrow and deepest grief, the Safo family and the Christo Asafo Church announces the peaceful passing of Ghana's beloved man of God, the greatest technological icon, philanthropist, agriculturalist, and industrialist, popularly referred to as Kantanka, the African star. Our deepest father passed away peacefully on Thursday, 11 September 2025. Romans 14 verse 8 states, "For if we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord." Apostle Safo was a true genius, a father to the fatherless. Ghana has indeed lost a gallant son and a true legend. His unique persona was shaped by his life struggles, dreams, resilience, courage, determination, and dedication to his calling and conviction. During this time of grief, we humbly request that the general public respects the privacy of the family and loved ones. Burial and funeral arrangement shall be duly communicated in the coming days. Here at his residence, the atmosphere is heavy with grief. Church members, relatives, and workers of one of Ghana's foremost technology pioneers arrived to commiserate with the family. While others are overwhelmed with wailing, some say they are still in shock at the sudden announcement of his passing. The family says funeral arrangements will be announced after a family meeting. Reporting for Joy News, live from his residence here at Taifa, I am Stephen Mensah.
Moving on, hours of heavy rain on Friday turned the already dire traffic on the Tema-Aflao Highway into a nightmare as it flooded Pong barrier, leaving vehicles stranded and commuters trapped for hours. Floodwaters rose to waist level for those who dared to wade through, stalling car engines and washing away part of the road still under construction. Residents and motorists are blaming poor engineering works for the flooding, asking roads minister and contractors to have a second look at the road. And there's more in this following report. For years, the Kpong barrier has been a notorious choke point on the Tema-Aflao Highway, trapping commuters in hours of traffic. Successive governments have promised relief, with contract awarded to expand the 17-kilometer stretch and redesign the barrier that fuels the gridlock. But frustration is boiling over as residents and drivers say progress on the project has been slow. They say Friday's heavy rains exposed what they describe as poor engineering work. According to them, instead of easing movement, the area was completely submerged, turning the highway into a flat plain and bringing traffic to a standstill. The residents say the flooding was so severe that the vehicles were stuck for hours.
You can see the bridge that they are doing over there. The bridge must be, I think, 4 or 5 covers. But you can see what they are doing. They cover the whole place and the team paint only one cover. Then water cannot pass. Go and see whatever they are doing over there. Look, you can see look at that transformer there. It blasts yesterday. The transformer there goes off yesterday because of even here was flooded.
So we have to alight from the car and started walking. All these places were flooded. And no car moves, no car comes. So we walk through the water. As at the Belacqua Bridge, it gets to almost my waist. Yeah, and you could see that, I don't know, maybe the rain might carry some of the cars away.
Since only yes, answer yeah car. The big nuclear judge baby and send fata. I'll chop. And a driver is so boo. I'll try by much help and I'm
Driver Osai is urging the roads minister and the contractors to revisit the project's design. He believes the poor drainage system at Kpong barrier directly contributed to the flooding.
About last month or so, we saw serious construction going on. But nowadays, it seems we can't see as we saw previous years. So actually, they are still on construction, but they should come and watch where there's a whole lot of decongestion and all that. They should tackle that place first so that there will be a free flow of traffic and all that, so that we too can have access to our work.
Also in the news, the Deputy Central Regional Education Director, Harriet Aiden Sego, has emphasized that collaboration must be at the heart of education if institutions are to achieve their long-term vision. Now, speaking at the launch of Starlink internet connectivity in 8 basic schools within the KEEA municipality, she noted that the initiative will not only sharpen students' digital skills, but also demonstrate how shared commitments can drive educational transformation. And there's more on the following report.
In a world where the internet has transcended from being just a resource to a lifeline, 8 selected schools and 2 ICT centers in the Commander Dinegwa for Abronye municipality have joined the ship of fast internet, becoming beneficiaries of the Starlink internet connectivity donated by Learning Upgrade, Our Future Prize, and N50, organizations based in California, USA. Speaking at the launch and installation of the Starlink internet connectivity, the Director of Global Business Development with Learning Upgrade, an education technology company, Hanin Khalaf, shared her expectations for the donation.
So what we are hoping and expecting to happen in the region is for the students to now have access to the entire world at their fingertips through their devices here, that will now be connected to really strong internet, and they will also have the perfect tool to build their foundational skills. So one expectation is any students who have fallen behind in their courses, we hope that you'll use Learning Upgrade to quickly catch up in those topics that you've fallen behind in. So maybe you're in grade 5, but you're testing at a grade 3 level of English. Please use Learning Upgrade to help you close that gap.
A rep from the beneficiary schools and headmaster of the Elmina Methodist Junior High School, Jacob Anzikwenu, highlighted the impact of the Starlink internet connectivity in the schools.
This gesture goes far beyond just internet access, because we believe that this is going to bolden our children to take the wilder steps into the digital divide, ensuring that KEA is part of the World Wide Web. We want to assure you that this facility will be used responsibly and purposefully, Teachers will integrate this in their lessons and make sure that the children are well shaped using their research, creativity, and self-learning abilities.
The Deputy Central Regional Education Director, Harriet Ojura Aidan Sego, lauded the gesture and appealed that the generosity be extended to other schools and districts in the region.
We in education in the Central Region count ourselves very, very privileged. We pray that we have 22 districts in the Central Region. You have picked only one, and even the one, only 8 schools and 2 facilities. Like Oliver, I am asking for more. In this era of artificial intelligence, we couldn't have requested for anything better. We know you are going to help us with what you are giving us to be able to key into AI as is the language of now. We'll be closer together and we'll be learning together.
From Elmina, Abigail Lissol Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, the 3-day EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair mini clinic at the Accra Mall ended on a high note with record patronage, satisfied vendors, and even a surprise appearance from TGMA Artist of the Year, King Promise. Now, organizers say the success sets the stage for an even bigger main fair in October. My colleague Jacqueline Asumayebo has more.
It was a bustling final day at the Accra Mall as the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair wrapped up its 3-day run. The fair, after earlier stops at Achimota and Tema, brought together more than 20 exhibitors, offering everything from building materials and financing solutions to home decor. Head of marketing at the Multimedia Group, Max Fuga, explained that the mini clinics are just a build-up to the main Habitat Fair in October, which promises to be the biggest yet.
The clients are happy, the patrons are happy, and so we can say that our objectives for the period has been achieved. We are just gearing up towards the main fair, which is from October 22nd to 26th at the Accra International Conference Center.
Excited patrons throng the venue, many walking away with discounted products and services.
It's a good experience, and you come, you see various items you'll be interested in. Yeah.
What did you actually come in here for?
The security doors.
Oh, okay. Were you able to get one?
Yeah, we got about 3 companies: Door Masters, Your Bet, and STL.
I was looking for doors, tiles, and then windows.
Oh, okay.
So I've been to 2 stands which has doors. So I'm asking what the doors are made of and then how it can fit for the purpose I want it to be.
Je trouve que c'est une initiative très intéressante. Il y a beaucoup d'exposants qui proposent de nombreuses choses qui sont très pertinentes, notamment pour l'aménagement résidentiel. Donc c'est une très belle initiative.
Okay. Could you translate for me? Do you know what she said? I'm pretty sure what she was trying to say was like, I mean, it's good, right?
Yeah, it's good, especially the exhibition that she's great. She will be going go back. Yeah.
I say that all the stuff that exhibitors propose are really interested, and it's really the place to discover.
For exhibitors, the Accra Mall Clinic capped off a rewarding series. Returning vendors reported increased visibility and sales, while new exhibitors highlighted the platform's potential to connect them with fresh customers.
It has been a great one because I think ever since we started joining Joy News Habitat Fair, it has been great. We get referrals, people coming in saying they heard of us, they came to our show, they came to our exhibition. So it's been great. That's why we always continue to be with you.
During our first one at the Achimota Mall and then to Tema, and then here, you have been getting some calls and they have been chatting with some people who are interested in getting some of the solar. So that's why we keep on showing up.
It's been going well so far. You have been engaging customers, educating them on the pipes, and the fact that it is not all the pipes that you need, but you need certain pipes for specific works to be done for you.
Head of Marketing and Brands at EcoBank, Regina Ofori, praised the turnout and urged patrons to look forward to even more attractive deals at the main fair.
If you were at Chimota, you've been to Tema, and here you know what to expect. And at the main fair, I expect that everybody will come and all the goodies will be there, the discounts and everything will be there. But of course, at EcoBank, we do this because we believe that home ownership should not just be a dream. Everybody must own a home, and there are very simple ways to do that.
And adding a touch of celebrity glamour, reigning TGMA artist King Promise made a surprise appearance to check out the exhibit, sending the crowd into a frenzy.
I'm working on a couple of projects, so it was only right I came to check for myself. I've seen a few. I got a few brochures as well, and a few numbers, so we'll definitely be getting in touch with some of them for some stuff. It's very I think it's efficient. For anyone who has anything they're working on real estate-wise, home-wise, I feel like to have all these people under one roof makes it easy to, because there's a pool of people to select from. And for me, this make my job easy because I'm like, I'm going to share lights for them, I'm going to share pipe for them, I'm going to share, you know what I mean?
After 3 days of deals, discounts, and delighted faces, the third clinic has ended. But organizers are sure this is only the beginning as the countdown to October's Grand Habitat Fair continues. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansama Yaboa.
Well, let's get updated with some news in the business world. And the Bank of Ghana could be under some serious pressure to cut its key lending rate by some significant margin as its beginning Monetary Policy Committee meeting today. Now there's more on the following Business Desk report.
This has been influenced by further decline in inflation rate from 12.1% in July to 11.5% in August this year. The economy has also expanded by 6.3% for the second quarter of this year. These developments are critical in shaping the policy rate going forward. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, promised that they will move quickly to cut the policy rate if fresh data comes across as favorable. But for many, will the current pressure on the cedi be the party spoiler? As some have argued that the central bank should look at how it can use the policy rate to check the recent pressure on the cedi. Or maybe even if the policy rate will be reduced at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which starts this morning and end on Wednesday, it could just go down marginally from the current 25%.
Away from that, the Association of Ghana Industries is asking the Bank of Ghana to take a relook in its 5% charge on some foreign currency cash withdrawals. According to them, the directive will negatively have an impact on the operations. And speaking to Joy Business, Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chonam Akpelo, said they would be engaging the regulator on the directive.
We do fully appreciate the central bank's desire to ensure that the forex market is properly streamlined so that we can promote the local currency. And so to that extent, we give them all the respect so that they can continue to do their work. We do, however, have some concerns that ought to be addressed, because you realize that most of our raw materials that we use in our manufacturing process have to be imported. In fact, most things that we use in the country have to be imported. What it means is that you necessarily need the US dollars, which have become the international denominator for foreign transactions. So in the process, you definitely need to deal with the banks so that if you are asked to pay a 5% of monies that were transferred to you, probably from a transactions or probably from goods and services that you've sold abroad, and you have to pay 5% in accessing that money to say pay for raw materials, then clearly that's a challenge, because that's an extra financial burden that will be on the business. So our view is that some of these regulations cannot be applied in wholesale. We have to isolate different issues and apply them as such.
Well, that's all we have for you for the news. I'm Noella Karen-Yali. We've got sports updates coming right up. Don't go nowhere.
The Ghana-US Education Partnership signed between Ebuakwa South MP, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, and Journey to Destiny Ministries under the theme Building Bridges, Education, Compassion and Global Impact, create a platform for African American and Ghanaian students to connect and collaborate. The launch, featuring a panel discussion, brought together African American students, Ghanaian students across the United States, and leaders of historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs. Felicia Foster, founder and president of Journey to Destiny Ministries, explained how the partnership will work.
So how this is going to work, we're targeting our HBCU students because a lot of times our African American students, they don't have the resources or the opportunity. So we're going to bring in nurses, nurse practitioners, midwifery students that are going to come in and do student teaching. They're going to teach best practices. So our students in Ghana will be able to glean from our students here in America, and it's going to be a true partnership because we want students from Ghana to also come to America.
Already, American students are eager to visit Ghana to learn, explore, and connect, while Ghanaian students in Memphis universities welcome the initiative as a way to correct misconceptions about Ghana.
I am so excited about this experience. I have never been out of the country before, and I plan on going. This is going to be a program that's going to enhance the experience for students. That hands-on experience that we've been looking for with LOC students, it's here now. And I couldn't be more excited for what God is doing, but what also is happening and taking place right here in our special LOC.
People traveling to Ebuakwa South to study gives the Americans the opportunity to know what is actually out there. So the whole impression they have about us will change when they get there and realize that we have very developed communities, we have very good educational system, and we actually have good funding opportunities as well.
Ebuakwa South MP Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, welcomed at the Memphis airport by Ghanaian students, said the partnership offers Ghana a chance to showcase itself globally, expressing firm belief in its transformative impact.
We have an opportunity to sell our country to the diaspora. Let's do it and do it very well. It doesn't matter the number of people who want to contribute. Let everybody have an opportunity to contribute. But for this, destiny is going to be achieved. You saw the euphoria, the excitement as we moved along the various historically black colleges and universities across the U.S. This is greeted with a lot of passion. And Ghana is ready. The pilot one is going to start from my constituency, Ebuakwa South, using the Kibi Presbyterian College of Education. A lot more are going to come, and we'll be moving beyond the constituency to bring other colleges and universities on board. So it's a very good initiative that Ghana will be experiencing. Cultural and educational diplomacy is the way to go.
Dr. Christopher Davis, president of Lemoyne Owen College in Memphis, and Reverend Dr. Charles Fosu Ayakwa of Kibi Presbyterian College of Education expressed hope for a mutually beneficial partnership for their students.
I don't think we will ever fully realize our full potential until we have a greater sense of connection to home. And so when we look at this exchange program with Ghana, it is a real opportunity for us to go to a place, to a space where we really do feel like we're at home because we are.
It is also an advantage on our side, all because we stand a chance to learn from them, from their good practices, and in future we also stand a chance to come here and to partake in their good practices.
Journey to Destiny board members expressed excitement about the partnership.
My true desire is for this to be an exchange that will allow students from here in America to understand the culture of Africa, the culture of Ghana, and then in turn bring that information back to transform minds about the continent.
I envision this internship to impact students here in America to do a few things: break slave mentality, break all of the chains that are upon one's hearts, to understand their God-given identity, to understand that they're leaving home to go to home.
We want the Ghanaians to take advantage of this program. They should go on the internet, check online, the website, and see where they fit in. And as they said, it's not only tertiary students, those who are in the trade field, are also welcome.
As you can see, the excitement is all over here across universities in the United States. Ghanaian students here are looking forward to American students also going to Ebuakwa South and across the country, Ghana, to have the opportunity to study, as well as students in Ebuakwa South and also across Ghana to come here to the United States to study. Reporting from the Tennessee South Haven here in the United States, my name is Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
Hello there, welcome back to the AM show. The AM show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Let's talk water tanks, Ghana. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It's strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can as well call them on 0244 335 168 to buy now or find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Time now to review the news, and joining me in studio is Hamza Suyini, lawyer and member of the NDC communications team, and as well Abronye, former president GJA. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me in studio this morning. How's your weekend been?
Thank you for having us. Well, it's been okay.
It's been okay? Are you certain that it's been okay? Are you certain?
Well, we are in good health. Hopefully, this week will be better. So it's been okay, apart from the usual turbulent political nature.
I am curious to know about the turbulent political nature. We'll probably get into it, but Mr. Money, how's it been for you? A lot has been happening in the news. Every day we wake up, and if there's no news, it's not Ghana. But tell me, what has your attention in the news?
The media are a reflection of happiness in society. So if nothing happens, of course, some can manufacture news, either rightly or wrongly, but largely it's a reflection of what happens in society. So, so far so good. And it bears repeating, emphasizing that standards in the media are not uniform. In certain sections, standards are appreciably high. In other sections, standards are abysmally low. But so we are on it. The grace has been sufficient.
Hamza, what has your attention in the news? I definitely can't wait to talk about the Abronye case because, of course, you have been advancing some legal arguments about that, the reasoning behind the judge's decision, and so would probably get into it. That has my full attention, and as well, we're all looking forward to a Monday like this because of the assurances that the Attorney General is stepping in so that he'll be released. But what else has your attention?
I think it basically has to do with the way we do our politics in this country. And for many of us who are members of the National Democratic Congress, and being so concerned about the legacy of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, we have made a commitment that our politics this time around will be different, so that even when he's out of the presidency, we can begin to associate openly with the kind of democracy he would have taken the NDC and Ghana through. It's going to be a painful exercise. It's going to be challenging, it's going to be turbulent, but knowing the man, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I think that the onus is on all of us to ensure that we help him to succeed in that regard. It is not about pandering to the wishes or emotions of many people who are out there and simply looking for equalization when it comes to our politics, but it is about standing on principles. And there's no better personality in our political discourse, especially after His Excellency President Mills, who reflect these tenets than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So clearly, I think that the discourse should be about how we can sanitize and ensure that we hold public institutions accountable, not just the executive and legislature. I've always argued that in this country, we have a lazy approach of ensuring accountability. Whatever happens, even at Ghana Water Company Limited, ECG, we are quick to place it at the doors, on the doorstep of executive or the legislature, when indeed many of these comrades of ours who are employed to man these institutions feed on fat salaries and do not get to face any form of accountability from the public. So those of you in the media, I think that the time has come for you to start changing the discourse.
You're in the media with me. Mr. Money, he says those of you in the media, and yet he's always on TV with me. He does a job with me. But Mr. Money, what has your attention? Before I quickly run us through, we've got lots of papers this morning.
The perception or misperception about the government's fight against Galamsey, His Excellency the President obviously plunged headlong into controversy because of his explanation not to use state of emergency to fight Galamsey. Obviously, given the political space in which we find ourselves, this issue has been subjected to all kinds of partisan football. People have been stridently critical of the government for failing in its duty to fight Galamsey to the hills. Others, have been defending the government's stand and was their duty to do so. But in the midst of
the fight and the purported fight, as you have been, you describe it as misconception or not. You're not too sure whether they are fighting it or they are not fighting it. But let me hear you out.
In the midst of the barbed remarks, in the midst of the blinkered views, MPP and DC views, in the midst of the noise, or whether we are on the right path of fighting Galamsey, lies objective reality. And the reality is that the fight against Galamsey is far from being won.
Right.
So this underlines the need for officialdom to re-strategize, listen to the voice of the people, be more ruthless than ever before in fighting Galamsey. Because history is watching. And history will never forgive this present generation. In fact, this present generation will stand condemned forever at the bar of history if we fail to win the fight against Galamsey.
You have just added your voice to the many people, stakeholders who have been calling for this fight. But as well, I just want to remind our viewers that we're joined by Dr. Evans Dia, political commentator and researcher as well. Thank you, Doc, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Oh, how's your weekend been? Over here as well, we take a minute to let you tell us what has your attention in the news or what you want to draw people's attention to.
So for me, it's been with the polls with the New Patriotic Party concerning the primaries. So as academics, we actually, who belong to the New Patriotic Party, we realized that there were some polls out there, but most of them, the sample size was quite little. And we wanted to have a significant sample size to be able to determine what the voice of the delegates are at a given period. And that's what we've been working on, and that's what we'll talk about.
Okay. We'll get into that, especially because the former vice president or the 2024 presidential candidate has been saying that Ghanaians should forgive them for the mistake, if what that means. You probably help us understand. But let me just quickly run you through the papers this morning. The Daily Guide is reporting, as I've just said, forgive us our mistakes. Dr. Bawumia to Ghanaians. You find that story on page 6 of the Daily Guide. And as well, Abronye judge under fire over animal farm ruling. You must have heard that story. It's on page 3 as well. And Kofi Akpalu as well says that his arrest is politically motivated. And I quote him, my arrest politically motivated. As well, you may have heard by now that Apostle Dr. Safo Kantanka passes on and is on the Daily Guide this morning. As well, the Daily Graphic this morning, poultry industry to be self-sufficient in 3 years, President's pledges. You find the story on page 3. And as well, anti-Galamsey task force purges and Cobra Bonsa rivers. 300 structures destroyed and equipment as well seized. I don't know if this makes you happy, Mr. Money. Does this make you happy that they're purging the rivers, or whether the fight it doesn't look bleak anymore?
Kudos to the fighters against Galamsey, but this does not obscure the fact that we have a long way to go.
Okay, yeah. Hamza, I'll come to you this morning to ask you, what's the inside story? What's really the real challenge to fight the Galamsey? Because the energy you promised, the NDC government promised, is not the same energy in this explanation we're getting now. But let me finish with a Ghanaian publisher this morning. Mahama's deputy deal unconstitutional by the minority. It is in the Ghanaian publisher this morning. The News Center this morning as well says that not all Ghanaians are equal before the law. I'm sure you find this in the reasoning behind the decision of the judge to remand. Hamza is a lawyer. He'd explain better for us. And yes, so that's the most. Well, I see. NPP elders bind flag bearer aspirations into issue-based campaign. Story is on page 9 of it, and as well, the Ghanaian Times this morning. Fear grips Takwa residents. Market stores cave in after blast from mine shaft. Story is on page 3. And as well, the Kumasi shuts down for Asante Hema's burial on Thursday. Story is on page 11 for Ghanaian Times. And the Ghanaian Times as well as reporting Ghana's foremost tech innovator, Apostle Kojo Safo, is dead. The custodian this morning will maintain Baumia for 2028. Ashanti region speak. Dog, you should keep this paper. You have a lot of explanation to do for that paper. Yes, I guess that will be all. But let's start off, Hamza, with definitely the Abronye matter. And we'll start with not all Ghanaians are equal before the law, as the judge has been saying. My little reading of equality before the law is being challenged in this particular essence.
I can imagine. And good morning to you, my colleagues in the studio, at least our cherished viewers out there, and your production team. There's always the tendency for you to leave that out, and they do a chunk of the work.
Certainly, yes.
So respect to you. You see, I think that my position on this matter is known already. And I believe, like I indicated, it has nothing to do with courage on my part as an individual. It has more to do with principles, and most importantly, that is the part people take out, a conducive political environment for me to be able to express those views, knowing that the political system is not going to come against me, even my own party, knowing that the political system rather will reflect on the concerns that many of us are raising. And that is why, in the last election, we were forthright in our campaign for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I am not sure that under a different regime, I would have been able to muster the courage to speak out on concerns I have when it comes to dispensation of justice. Because we saw what happened in the last 8 years under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Even his own party members who held different views could not speak out. And like I granted an earlier interview and I said, for me, my presentation or my position on this matter should not be credited to me. It should be credited to the man on whose watch I am able to express these views, knowing that he will listen, and that is Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I'm clear in my mind. I have followed his politics. And so I try as much as possible to reflect his ideals in my communication and my public poster. And that was what drove me to be able to read the entire judgment and make clear the position. There's this erroneous impression out there, as if government is interested in hounding Abronye DC. Absolutely not. Let us get this straight. His conducts are repulsive, condemnable, and we should not entertain that kind of political rhetoric in our political discourse. But it does not also mean that in trying to punish such behavior, we should massage the law
and force down legal principles that are clearly reprehensible and not in our law books. The Criminal Procedure and Other Offences Act is quite clear in terms of the power of bail and the fact that it resides with the judge. It is a discretionary power. But even in acknowledging that it is a discretionary power, under Section 96(5) and 6, it sets down the parameters that the judge must go through in granting a bail or denying same. I read the judgment. I did not see any direct compliance with the injunctions of Section 96 of our Criminal and Other Offences Act. And for me, that was my discomfort.
He won't be right to have cited precedents in his own court.
And I'm getting to the precedents. If you read that judgment extensively, the same judge said that in 2023, he remanded an NDC communicator, one Raphael, an activist, for insulting His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And I am clear in my mind that in 2023, we condemned that action. And we thought that it was an affront to an expression of freedom of speech by a citizen of the Republic of Ghana. As a party, many of us.
Condemning the action does not take away the precedent in his court.
No. The law, when we talk about precedents in law, it doesn't mean that any kind of precedents. It doesn't mean that you have to import your own measure of what the law is, even if it is not the law, and call on the Republic to honor it.
Right.
And for me, that was my disappointment because we condemned it. I looked at that judgment, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And we condemned it. And I saw it, and excuse my language. You see, we must understand that those of us who claim to be politicians, there are many in our public services who are more political than us. Yes. So when I read the judgment, and I saw his references to the previous regime, the fact that in 2023, an NDC activist was remanded, and seeking justification for remanding Abronye, I saw that, look, no, this is not the law. This is something else. Yeah. And so the NDC and the legacy of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama must be distanced far from the reasoning of this judge. Because I know that there's no way government will give a tacit approval to this. And people are forgetting. In this country, His Excellency President Mahama in his first term, when the judiciary has decided to assert and defend its territory, you remember the case of the Munti 3?
Yes.
And they were brought before the judiciary, the Supreme Court. His Excellency President Mahama respected the processes as President of the Republic of Ghana. These guys were dealt with, NDC activists, by the judiciary, and were remanded. In fact, I think they were given a sentence of about 3 months. Upon series of letters and of expressing remorse and petitions, it took President Mahama after a full month before he decided to exercise that presidential pardon, by which time everybody in this country would have been convinced that at least 1 month was enough for them to have realized that what they did was improper. Yeah. But President Mahama could have interfered by speaking to the judges behind the scenes for those NDC activists not to be sent to prison. But he didn't interfere. So if the Ghana Police Service, through the IGP, is also demanding institutional respect and integrity for the Ghana Police Service, people must understand that this is not the president demanding same. It should give us confidence as a people that indeed even our public institutions knows under whose presidency they can assert their institutional independence and integrity. And that is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Okay. And so when I listen to the NPP attempt to draw, and that was my banter with the minority leader, when I listened to the NPP attempt to draw His Excellency President Mahama and the NDC government into this unfortunate exercise of discretionary power in the Abronye case and create the impression as though it is the NDC that is hounding Abronye, I found that repulsive and unacceptable. Okay. Because the government has demonstrated its unwillingness to interfere when it comes to the functions of the
I'll let Mr. Moni just also take a bite. And Doc, I'll come to you quickly. Mr. Moni, so you have heard his position. Many of us will express their position on the behavior of this judge. What do you have to say?
I'm inclined to side with our learned comrade. The law is the law, is the law. And in applying the law, we expect judges, even though we are told that the law resides in their bosom. That's it. Yeah, this is what we are told. But in applying the law, we don't expect them to skew it in favor of anybody.
Yeah.
This law should be applied in its strictest sense. And there should be no miscarriage of injustice any time, anywhere. Abronye's style of politics is something else. But his incendiary rhetoric, his poisonous comments are no justification for the law to be interpreted or applied against him. He is entitled to presumed innocence until found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So we expect the law to be applied.
But what do you expect? What do you expect of this judge? What do you expect the government? What do you expect the head of the judiciary to do to this particular judge, given that all of the arguments, we have not gone to court to prove that everything he has said is wrong? I think the law as it is allows for a lot of debate and conversation. But what do you expect of the government?
I think the ethics guide the judicial service should be applied. We expect the higher authorities to distance themselves from this statement by the judge. That some people are more equal than others. The application of animal farm should have no space in the 21st century Ghana. Not at all.
Doug, do you not believe that not all persons are equal before the law?
The law is a law.
Is it?
And all of us are equal before the law.
Is that not just in white and black?
It should be, because for me, the point is that you would have to apply the law to every person as you would have applied to your own person. And that is very important.
For example, the president has some immunity. He's a person.
Yes, but that's
a privilege.
A privilege and a provision in the Constitution. So that is the law. It's not as if it's just...
But can we not infer that doesn't make him equal? If you have certain privileges...
If there is an amendment, but as it stands, there is a provision in the Constitution for that.
Right.
So I personally think that what should happen is that the judge should go according to the law. I do not support Kevin Taylor, Abronye style, and all those people. For me, I was raised with decorum. I was raised that to respect our elders and stuff. So such things should not be tolerated. But freedom of speech is very important. If you do to A, then you should do to B. And I think that if we are going after Abronye, then there are so many people that we should go after them. And at the end of the day, you can't do that to Abronye and then expect to leave other people. So then if you're going to clean the system, then clean everybody and apply the law. But you don't target people who presumably are of the opposition, and then it becomes as if you are witch hunting certain people. And that is a wrong impression for this government to give. And I don't expect them to do that.
Okay.
No, I think that it is important for that correction to be made.
Which
and
one?
I made that point already. This is not an action of government. Let's get it straight. And so, unlike we had in the past, where in many of these cases, the Attorney General himself was leading against known NDC activists. This is not what is happening in this current.
So in this particular case, what role does the Attorney General have in it? What can he do?
That is why the Attorney General, I'm picking information that today the Attorney General will be interested in the matter.
Fantastic.
You understand? Okay. So he would step in. But this was initiated by the Ghana Police Service. And that's the point I'm making. You see, we must be careful not to run down our state institutions. The Ghana Police Service has a responsibility to protect its own integrity and image. And when they invoke their rights to do so, we must also resist the temptation for the presidency or the government to be interfering. Because it is this kind of interference that makes it impossible for our institutions to truly be independent. But this particular instance, it is okay for the Attorney General to intervene because we feel that the reasoning of the judge is quite strange, in all honesty.
So if I understand you, the police has got a responsibility, they themselves, to not get involved in these kind of, put themselves in this kind of...
No. What I'm saying is that they have a responsibility to protect institutional integrity. Abronye went on radio and decided to attack the foundation of that institution, including their head. Like the Muntie 3 was said to have been attacking the institution of the judiciary and judges. and the judges exercise power.
Okay.
The police is also simply trying
Which laws would they be operating with?
Even the judges operated under the laws of Ghana. We are all part of the entity Ghana.
Okay. Doc, I see you wanted to react to
no, but let me,
Today my time is like a, like a bird. It's like the stomach of a bird.
On the issue of the Section 96(7), like the judge's ruling, make no mistake. It is not as if the judge wouldn't have found any legal basis to still continue to remand Abronye. But we are condemning that judgment because of Martin Kwebu versus AG.
Okay.
And the decision that, look, you cannot use bail as punishment. And if you read the entirety of the judgment, it is clear that the judge sought to use the remand as a way of punishment to curtail reckless political commentary. And that is what some of us are condemning. But Abronye's own conduct, the possibility to commit a similar offense whilst on bail, Section 96(6) makes provision. And so the judge still could have referenced this provision and justify saying, based on Abronye's past reckless commentary about accusations against President Mahama of killing people, not too long ago, 550 million Ghana cedis against President Mahama that he had stolen from the Jubilee House.
So the judge would have found many other laws
as foundation to remand. So that could have been defended legally. But if you read his judgment, there is no legal basis for that judgment to stand.
Doc, please respond.
And we all must be worried about it.
Okay, so for me, the most important thing is that we are looking at the independence of our institutions. However, who makes the appointment? If it's the president who is helping with the appointment, then whoever is at the top naturally will be grateful to the one who made the appointment.
Yeah, so are we in case specific, are you concerned about this judge and as to whether he's been appointed by?
I'm talking about the police.
The police, okay.
Yes. So in this case, the one there would want to indirectly be grateful to who put him there. In that case, if there is anything that goes against that government, he would want to protect it because somebody placed him there. So what I'm trying to say here is that the police is doing their job. However, the law is a law, so we should not punish him because of bail. But I don't want a situation where we are picking up on Abronye and leaving other people. If the police want to do that, there are more cases around that they could do so that it would not become a case of witch hunting and political opposition. And that's what I don't want us to do.
Okay. So, Doc, the newspaper in front of you says that, or even not for you, there's one that's Bawumia, is Dr. Bawumia, respectfully, is asking that Ghanaians forgive them. For what? Where's the money? What do you think he's asking for forgiveness for? He was just in government, and the government did what they had to do, did they not?
They promised to make cost of living better for Ghanaians, but the left office, when the cost of living was strikingly bitter.
Okay, and was that intentional?
Social contract, you enter into social contract with the people. So your inability to fulfill the social contract should come some consequences.
Okay.
That's why the people voted the way they did at the polls in 2024.
Okay.
But his apology is a step in the right direction. Yes, because it's a sign of sincerity. For an apology to carry weight, it should be sincere. And you can tell that he did it with all sincerity.
In 2016,
for an apology to be effective, it should be specific. And you can see that element of specificity in that apology.
Okay.
And for apology to be also effective, it should be timely. So the timeliness can also carry weight.
Okay.
Give him some plus. It shows that Bawumia is maturing. You know, with every human being, perfection is an impossible goal. So Dr. Bawumia has his imperfections. So he's telling Ghanaians, yes, I have my imperfections, but forgive me and try me again. And this is something I endorse.
Is this not what, well, Doc, is this not why Kennedy Japan says that? Then don't try what you have tried and you know the taste already, so give me the opportunity. And in answering that, let's just get into the conversation about the polls that you introduced. I mean, some weeks ago, Global Info Analytics have already said that Dr. Bawumia seems to be leading. That's just the title.
They were emphatic.
They were quite emphatic, not even seem. They were quite emphatic. Many other small polls as well have suggested that he is still leading. You, for a researcher, is this the same for you?
No, it's not been the same. But first, I'll respond to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia apologizing. We should take it this way, that the Ghanaians that we are all serving actually are the employers of all the politicians. And for one reason or the other, if they have employed you and they've sacked you out of office for reason 1 or 2, it is accountable and responsible for the person to come back to the people. I've heard you. I've heard all that you've said, and I'm sorry for not doing A, B, C, and I hope to amend it. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia apologizing is a good thing, but we should remember that Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, during the tour that they had, the Unity tour, was the first to start apologizing to Ghanaians. And the reason why he started apologizing to Ghanaians at the beginning was because he felt that Ghanaians were disappointed looking at the 1.7 million loss. And that was an emphatic statement by the Ghanaians. And he felt that we should do. So I feel the MPP as a party, even looking at the aspirants, have all realized that Ghanaians may have some level of anger because of the expectations. They had some expectation towards the MPP, and they had some levels of disappointment. That could be accounted for in different ways, but sometimes people will not understand that there was COVID-19, there was Russia-Ukraine war, there were other factors that affected global economics. Now, coming to the polls, I personally, this polls that we did was initially not even meant for the public decision. It wasn't meant to be in the public domain. It was initially done for myself and my team. So we lost the elections. I'm someone that believed that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had done well at the top for 8 years, had done well at the top as a vice president. And for he being a flag bearer, I believe that he was the right person to lead the country. Unfortunately, December 7th, when we lost the elections, I realized that how did we lose? Because I could see that we could lose, but not with that magnitude, not with that margin. So I quickly on my Facebook page started asking people, what do you think caused this loss? So people started answering. I said, okay, now let me take you beyond social media and let's inquire from people. And when we did that research, we realized that the reasons for the loss, if they are not corrected and they are not rectified, the MPP can be in opposition for a very, very long time because you have a Mahama who is coming for a legacy period. And for that reason, he is expected to do way better than he did. So then I decided to now check with the delegates. What are they thinking? Because the Ghanaians, I saw that the confidence level they had in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was not the same. And for that reason, I wanted to see, would the delegates also reflect the same thing? So we did a first poll with 8,000. And please, I would have to put it in perspective. If you pick some of the polls going round before ours, most of them are doing under 3,000 in terms of sample size.
Okay.
3,000 here. We are looking at the total registered voters of the New Patriotic Party in terms of the album is 203,000. Now, with 203,000, most of the polls going around is less than 3,000. The first poll we ran was 8,000. Surprisingly for me, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong was leading. And I was like, I didn't expect that. Because looking at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia being the flag bearer and he being the one leading, how would that happen? So then we went ahead to increase the number of the sample size. And then we did a 10% sample size. So we did 20,000 as against 200,000.
Okay.
Now, what is amazing is that we use what we call the quota sampling. Quota sampling simply means that we look at something like Greater Accra, we have number 39,000. You pick something like Northeast, we have 3,400. The population density in these two regions are not the same. So what do? We pick a coefficient for them and we multiply per the sample. So if we are picking 300 random sampling from Greater Accra, we're going to pick about 29 from Northeast. And that will be very significant and representative of the situation. When we did this, we realized that majority of the delegates that we spoke to had made up their mind who they wanted to vote.
And that would be?
And that act, surprisingly, was Honorable Kennedy Agyapong leading at 41%.
Did this surprise you as a researcher? Because then you had already, what you did was to increase the sample size.
Yes.
Did it surprise you that the table
So
turned?
the 8,000 is where I got the surprise.
Okay.
And then the 20,000 was now a confirmation of what I saw with the 8,000. And then I asked myself, how? So then we went on again. So these were the questions we asked them. We asked them previously, who did you vote for in 2023? And who would you be voting for now? Now, what we do is that we have the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is like the realistic raw data, what the people just said.
Yeah.
But you have people who are either undisclosed or undecided. Undisclosed is where they are not comfortable telling us who they want to vote for. Undecided is they are confused who they want to vote for. And then there are people who would say, I would vote for example, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. However, I'm thinking of voting for Honorable Kennedy Agyapong because the citizens, the people around me are telling him that he rather gives us a better chance at 2020.
Interesting. I'm looking at your data here. So both worst case scenario and best case scenario,
yes.
They went for Kennedy or Agyapong.
Yes, both. Even in the best case scenario, so in the worst case scenario, there's a runoff, which means that none of them is crossing that 50%.
Which is not good for an incumbent candidate.
It's not, because then you have the incumbent and the team are saying that the rest of the candidates are ganging up against him. So what it means is that if there is a runoff, that means he's already lost. And then in the best case scenario, where people are thinking, who would I vote for if not for A, they are thinking of voting for Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. And then that even widens the gap.
The gap.
And
interesting. Okay, so I've just seen, luckily you said that you were not going to release this to the public domain, but you have, now you have.
No, I said the 8,000 is what I did not release.
Okay.
And the 20,000, I released it because I realized that the people need to know, because there were other polls coming out which were not significant to me because they had a small population. Sample size.
This data that you have just released will leave a lot to unpack, and I just want to take the thoughts of the two panelists. Unfortunately, today I'm pressed for time, so we're unable to go into details, but I've got just some 2 minutes I'm going to spread across. Mr. Money, does this surprise you?
Certainly yes. No, certainly no. Certainly no.
You seem to belong to both worst case and best case scenarios.
Yes. Sometimes, sometimes the most marketed candidate does not translate into votes.
Okay.
In terms of marketability, I think Dr. Bawumia is leading. And in terms of voter appeal, in terms of, because he's vice president, he's been moving around, that sort of thing. But Kennedy Agyapong should never be written off.
Okay.
He should never be written off, because when the state establishment, when the whole establishment was against him, he garnered more than 30%. 37% against him. Yes, that's highly significant.
And he was in the race for only 10 months.
Yeah,
at that time.
Highly significant.
Hamza, I'll give you the last. Hamza, my time is small.
Oh, why? Then why did you bring me in?
I promise. We have the whole.
I decided to turn down other offers to be here. Because
I promise. It's not characterized of us, right?
Okay.
So
Anyway, but I've listened to Doc. I can understand his inclinations and persuasions when it comes to who leads the New Patriotic Party, even though he's trying so hard to convince us that he's conducted a very reputable research, which I'm not questioning, but even in presenting the outcome of the research, it is quite clear where his leanings are. And I agree with Senior that indeed you cannot write off Kennedy or Agyapong as far as the NPP primaries are concerned. But in truth, any research that fails to project Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the next flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party is suspect to me. I also engage with a number of the NPP foot soldiers. I engage with many of their delegates. I have friends in there. I can gauge their political temperature, even sometimes without any scientific research. It is clear that it is going to be very difficult for Kennedy Agyapong to unseat Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. Because you are missing out one important thing. There's what we call long-standing reputation when it comes to our politics in this country, and not just even our politics. Those who are familiar with economic principles know what that means when we are dealing with issues of monopoly. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia undoubtedly has that edge when it comes to the politics of the New Patriotic Party. First, because of his activities in opposition for 8 good years as running mate to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That might have been affected in government because, of course, those of us in the NDC reminded the good people of this country that he was selling dreams that could not be realized, and they didn't listen when he was eventually given the mandate to lead, we all came to the realization that he was selling dreams. So that is going to affect him when it comes to national elections. But as to whether indeed that will affect him within the new Patriotic Party politics is something that we are not certain. But I can assure you that whoever their research is able to project, the National Democratic Congress as an enviable
I didn't even ask any question about it.
We'll do everything within our power to ensure that the people of this country continue to keep them there.
You're watching the AM
while
show.
we continue to
We'll be back with more. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to, get into how we can deal with the youth unemployment situation of this country. Now, according to the 2021 Population and Housing Census, the youth employment for age bracket between 18 and 24, around 32.8%. A large portion of the workforce lacks what we call the technical and problem-solving skills required for the modern economy. Now, to address these challenges, a comprehensive national framework is essential. But how do we do it? And that's why today we've brought together people from DTI, which always prides itself as saying that they want to help you to chart your own path. I have in the studio with me Dr. Magnus Ebo Duncan. He is a researcher and joining us today. And also Mr. Isaac Tete. He is a facilitator, welding and fabrication at the Design and Technology Institute, DTI. Gentlemen, good morning. Thanks for joining.
Good morning.
Doc, let me start with you because the National Development Planning Commission aims to produce a quote, validated baseline study on the national human capital development, unquote. What are the key methodologies and data sources that must be used in this particular survey, and what should we be looking out for?
Yeah. Thank you very much. In such a study on human capital, human capital is broad. Education, health, and then other issues. So that means that whatever baseline data that you want to deal with, you have to use different approaches, that's mixed approaches. So quantitative data, which be on the administrative data and survey data and census data. Then qualitative data that also comes with key informant interviews and then focus group discussions. And then also review policies and programs and frameworks that are in place to help develop human capital. And then look at the gaps, the strengths, the bottlenecks, and then you triangulate with the quantitative data and others that you have. And then again, you have to use benchmarking approach and then gaps analysis. The benchmarking approach means that you are comparing Ghana, what is in Ghana, to international standards to see where Ghana is. So if you look at human capital index by the World Bank and then human development also indexed by the UN, so you have to compare where Ghana is with those figures. Yes, and then also you do, so for the studies for each of them, whatever sector that you take, at the end you have to try and then do gaps matrices.
Okay.
Or progress and then gaps matrices for people to see where you are doing well, where the policies are working, where they are not working, what are the gaps, how are they to be fixed. And then also finally you have to do stakeholder consultation or engagements with your results so that you come to a consensus.
What is our situation in Ghana in terms of skilled labor and the challenges that confront these people?
It's not really good in the sense that if you look at the quality of labor that we have, you see that 62.5 have not gone past junior school certificate. So that shows that we have the quality there is low, because if you have 65.2% of your labor force not having gone past JHS, you know that there are a lot of things they cannot learn.
Okay.
Digital skills, there will be a shortfall there, and other soft skills and even precision quality. How they have to do their things so that it will match international standards, you will find wanting. Yeah, that's one thing there that, and our educational system too, you see that there's a gap between the education system and what is in the real world.
Okay.
Yes, so that is also a gap that has been found out. So because of this, the studies that was done, you have to also do a situation analysis study of selected institutions, post-basic selected institutions in the country, so that we know what is being taught there and then whether it's linked to industry. Yes, so that one too was done, and we found out that it is weak. There's weak collaboration between industry and the academia.
Okay.
If it comes to the TVET sector, government is doing a lot there where sector skills bodies and others have been formed to help in drafting curricula for the TVET sector.
Okay.
But what about the tertiary?
Let me bring in Mr. Tete here, because when he was speaking, he made mention of the fact that 62.5% of our skilled labor force have not gone beyond the basic education. What can DTI do, or what is DTI doing to at least help these 65 people to upgrade and also help us train people who have been to the senior high school and beyond to even acquire skills?
So DTI is currently running a competency-based training program in welding and fabrication, in multimedia, in CAD/CAM, and entrepreneurship. Now, if you listen to him, the conversation is clear that there's a mismatch between academia and industry. DTI is bridging that gap.
Okay.
So myself, for instance, I'm a certified welding inspector. I work in industry, but I am in DTI as a facilitator. So at the end of the day, whatever is being taught is exactly what industry is looking for. We have program advisory committees made up of industry professionals, both from the formal and informal sector, constantly reviewing what we are teaching in the school to ensure that as the people are leaving school, they have the skills that is required in industry. The curriculum that is being run in DTI. Over the years, we've been running the CTVET curriculum. Now, if you look at the number of youth unemployed in Ghana, and you look at the economy that we have now, has the economy been able to expand to accommodate all these people?
Okay.
One, the people coming out from school don't really have the skills. The economy has also not grown to be able to absorb these people. Europe and other places, their human capital population that is able to work is aging, and there's a shortage. We have a lot, and they are not skilled. Can we have a way that we train people beyond our national standard, align it with national and international standards, such that when they have the right skills, we can export them to places where their skills are needed? And that is what DTI is doing.
Okay.
Currently, we have an agreement with the American Welding Society. The curriculum that we are running in DTI, complementing the CTVET, is a curriculum developed by the American Welding Society. So anybody schooling in America pursuing a welding skill, the curriculum that will be used to train the person is what we are using in DTI. So if you are schooling in DTI pursuing a welding skill, it will be the same skill you would have obtained if you went to any school in America. And certificates that are issued in DTI comes from the American Welding Society. So the certificate anybody will use to seek for employment in America is the same certificate you are using. So at the end of the day, we are looking even beyond the national level and trying to align ourselves at the international level such that any professional coming out from DTI can also pursue aspiration elsewhere.
Okay. But Doc, again, based on that, how can, because as you said, 62.5% of our skilled labor force have not gone beyond BEC. How must policy address this gap to ensure that these people are being upgraded? And also, we know that even the technical training is quite expensive. How does policy address the expensive nature of technical training to make it affordable to people?
Thank you very much. I think there are certain things government has started already, because we are talking about this 65.2 not going beyond, and that is basic. The 2021 population and housing census. With the free SHS, you know that you gradually you get people moving above to the workforce above that level. Yeah. And also TVET is also free now. I've joined the free SHS. So these are some of the things that government is doing to upgrade those skills. But the important thing is you've been given the opportunity to go beyond that side free. Then at those levels to what is being taught. If what is being taught can make the person ready for the job market, then that is it. But from the studies done, we found out that even the instructors, you get some of the instructors that have not had any industry experience.
The instructors are the
yes,
TVET institutions.
TVET,
okay.
And even when you take the technical engineering at the tertiary level, you see that a sizable number of the instructors have not had industry experience. You see? So if there's no industry experience, you can do your free SHS and others to move them. But if those there to teach don't have industry experience, then there's a problem. Yeah. For instance, you look at those whether precision quality is very important. All lecturers will tell you that in those engineering and others say, yes, it's important, very important. But how many of you have undergone comprehensive training? For the sample that we took, it was only 16%.
16 of the facilitators?
Yes.
16% of the entire facilitators?
Yes.
Okay.
That has had comprehensive precision quality skills training. So you will see that still that gap has to be closed. So we talked about policy. Then there should be conscious effort by the universities and the tertiary education to sponsor some of these instructors to have industrial attachment. Wow. Maybe 4 months industrial attachment based on your area of expertise with industry. Okay. So that when you come out and you are teaching this, I quite remember in one key informant interview on animation and others, industry said that all students that come there for internship, they have to train them again. Because the software being used to train them at the universities is not what is being used in the market, because it's a very expensive industrial software.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that
quite interesting. We have to have a lengthy discussion on this. But Mr. Tete, yes, I'll give you a last batch on this.
I want to contribute to the question you asked. I think policy must change from certificate-driven to competency-driven.
Thank you.
Because, majority of the people going through school, they are after the certificate, the paper. The teachers that are teaching, their focus is how do we get our learners to get a certificate. That will not solve the problem. If I went through secondary school and I obtained the competencies that is required in the informal and the formal sector, I would be employed. Now, policy must also shift to demand-driven. There are programs that started 50 years ago. And if you go to our economy, there is no demand for those programs.
Okay.
But yet still they are running, and we are admitting thousands of people going through the program.
Okay.
So definitely they would go through the school, get the certificate, but there's no need for the certificate because there's no demand for it.
Okay.
So policy must look at shifting from certificate-driven to competency-driven and demand-driven.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tete. So Dr. Magnus Ebo-Duncan is a researcher. Mr. Isaac Tete is a facilitator in charge of welding and fabrication at DTI. And I'm sure that we're going to have this discussion in our various homes to shift, how we do things in this country. But are you looking to do things differently, to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? Because as you heard, the job market, some small openings there because the statistics do show that it's tough out here for university graduates with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. So you need to do things differently. And that's what the Design and Technology Institute, DTI, is all about. DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication. You heard Dr. Ebo-Duncan make mention of that. Also design innovation, including graphic design, sound engineering, animation, photography, amongst others, and entrepreneurship. Now, their programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, the Pearson BTech, and CTVET, so you can shine here in Ghana and anywhere in the world. So if you're ready to do things differently and chart your own path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions or call 0541693534 for more information. We'll take a break here. I'll be back with more. Please do stay. All right, so welcome back to the show. A reminder that the show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. Now, let's delve into our big story today because the New Patriotic Party is set to launch protest on 23rd September on what they describe as a state-sponsored harassment over the arrest and continued detention of Kwame Bafo, popularly known as Abronye DC. Just last week, a judge remanded Abronye into custody for 1 more week, sparking a legal debate on the position of the law for an act of misdemeanor. We hear from the political party because we're joined anyway. However, introduced to us our guest.
Of course, everybody's favorite, Dennis Berkos-Abwaje, aide to Dr. Bawumia. I like to call him the custodian of the Dr. Bawumia campaign architecture. That's how I like to describe him. And then you're wearing red. Yesterday was white.
Yes.
How many colors do you have of this?
I think about 5 different colors. Tomorrow I wear blue.
Nice.
Yes, tomorrow I wear blue.
So if by
this one, the Gen Zs call it the mural.
Oh, that's
the
what?
The mural version of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's image.
Oh, okay.
This is for the Gen Zs.
Oh, yeah.
You won't see because you are not a Gen Z.
Dennis, if by 23rd or before 23rd, Abronye is released from custody, I mean, we're hearing as well that the Attorney General is stepping in, at least to secure his bail, if that's possible today. Would you still proceed with the protest?
Yes, absolutely. I think the protest is not just for Abronye. The protest is for consistency. The protest is for equity. The protest is for respect for our laws. If you watch closely, since January 7th that this government came to office, there seems to be a sense of weaponizing our laws to intimidate opponents. And the defense you always have them come up is that the law is the law, which is true. The law is actually the law, but if you weaponize the law, it becomes poisonous.
But why do you say they are weaponizing the law? I mean...
So you see, if, for example, you are utilizing bail conditions to punish people. You don't need anybody to tell you that's what you are doing. It's obvious. In our statutes, the bail is there to, for example, ensure that the suspect shows up when he's needed. Or the suspect doesn't go out to sort of undertake the same offense that he undertook, for which reason he's been investigated or is in court. But if you have a scenario where all these things are out of the way, but you can clearly tell that somebody is being held and given a bail condition that is unreasonable in order for him to be kept, for a longer period, that's a worry. And it's something that all of us should be concerned about, not just me, because you see, precedence becomes law. Precedence becomes law. And once we allow it to fester as a people, today it may be all these other people that have been treated in this manner, but you never know where the axe will fall the next time. And that is why the 23rd protest is extremely important. It is to simply draw the government's attention that, listen, be careful what you are doing, because it is the future of this country that is at stake, and not just about you getting excited for what you are doing. Pay close attention to the actions of this government. It is as if they get satisfaction from dragging their opponents. How many people haven't they dragged through such processes? How many of them are actually in court with charges that are being handled in court? So it's like their satisfaction is, let's drag you from your house, let's put handcuffs on your hands, let's take pictures of you, give it to our social media people to share and mock you, let's go and put you in the cells, let's give you a bail condition that is almost impossible to meet, let's arraign you before a certain court that we are sure we can get what we want from, and then push you up and down. Otherwise, why is Abronye in a black maria?
The police has said that they wanted to protect him as well. You'd understand that that man commands a bit of some crowd.
Awesome. So you see, that goes to reinforce the point I made about weaponizing. So you can do the right things and still hurt people. So you see the way they've nicely said it is to protect him. It gives a certain sense of fine justification for that. But there are several ways you can do that. We've seen armed robbers, we've seen murderers being driven in smaller vehicles and less sophisticated vehicles than the Black Maria. Have you seen the gentleman, the immigration guy, the gentleman who murdered the immigration guy? Have you ever seen him in a Black Maria?
But you saw that he's almost mobbed.
But why is he not in a Black Maria? Even he is not in a Black Maria.
Would it be okay if he was transported in a smaller car? Doesn't make it any...
I mean, yes, it does. Because you see, you are basically showing the guy where power lies. That's what you are doing. And it's okay, but it is not okay for the future of this country. Because basically what we are saying is that, Abronye qualifies to be a future Yoko or NIB boss. He does, actually. He has all the credentials. He does. He has all the credentials. And so if one day you treat him in this manner, and one day he also finds himself in a position like that, and he decides to, retaliate.
But he cannot abuse the law if the law is not.
But the law is being abused right now. That is the point. I don't think any.
But you say he will be an Yoko boss and therefore can retaliate in that manner.
Yes. But if you treat him in this manner, that's what I'm saying. Instead of us keeping quiet, all of us keeping quiet and allowing this to move in circles, we need to take this opportunity and nip it in the bud.
For this particular
matter,
it
once and for all. You get what I'm saying?
For this particular matter in court, you'd agree that many, including people in the NDC government, have spoken against the reasoning that the judge gave. But does it make you feel any better if the judge is referencing consistency in his court, that in the Eswell government, he also had to remand persons under similar situation? Doesn't make you feel any better?
It's even strange sometimes when the judge is actually referring to his own rulings, which could be faulted anyway. It's quite strange. One would have expected the judge to reference much more other instances, other cases, because you could have erred in your first one. You understand? It doesn't mean that because you did one, which could be an error, you should repeat it because you have an opportunity to do the same. As for the judge's situation, I am hesitant to really take it up the way and manner I want to take it up. My concern is with the IGP. And I think that Mr. Yonu should just, realize that he is moving on a slippery ground. He should take it easy. Listen, Kojo, there are more pressing issues, more critical. Have you noticed that in the past 3 months, the level of crime in this country it is either a tribal war. You know, we used to read tribal wars in social studies. Let me for you and I. We used to, when we were in basic school, we used to read tribal wars in social studies. In fact, in our lifetimes, we really didn't see tribal wars. But today, it's all over the place. You are having some here, we have this.
Oh, but the Nkwanta tribal dispute, existed even before the
saying
IGP.
that, you know,
Solar Kalbatuna as well.
I'm saying that, you know, for some of us, we heard about the Nkonya fight 90 years ago, but really in our lifetime, once in a while you hear, but right now, either you are hearing somebody has murdered somebody and put them in a gutter somewhere, or you are hearing armed robbers, even highway robberies are back. Last night, I hear the Nkoko bypass, highway robbery. 3 days ago, the Kumasi Road, highway robbery. So there are more pressing things for the IGP to turn his attention to. The IGP went to Boko. His own vehicle was shot at. His own vehicle was shot at. The gentleman who shot at his vehicle, he couldn't arrest them. He rather went to promise them police recruitment if they put out their arms. So for an IGP to use the law and his position to settle personal scores, I have a problem with it. But you see, we don't learn. Public servants and politicians don't learn.
Who doesn't have a personal score?
We don't realize that. You see, we don't.
He doesn't have a personal score with Abronye, does he?
What is the issue with Abronye?
But it doesn't mean he has a personal score with him.
What is the issue with Abronye? If I defame you, if I call you names, what is the recourse in law?
MFI is the law student here.
No, what is the recourse?
Well, don't we have definitely is not a criminal
exactly.
thing.
Don't we have?
But is that a personal score?
If you read the facts of the matter, it is by extension that they brought the IGP matter in there. It's not the first cause. It's not the first. The two charges on which the two counts didn't have.
What are the issues behind the two counts? I want to know.
The conduct, his conduct.
What is it?
Well, the police didn't state in the conduct.
So you see, so the mere fact that Mbefa. No, but what is the issue? Just tell us. I mean, indicate.
I mean, he's your party member. You should have
the mere fact that even on this set, we are struggling to put a finger on specifically what the issue is, beyond the fact that you don't like the guy, the way he speaks, and maybe his insults, which are pure moral issues and all of that. We are struggling. You are trying to push him into a certain space. Because if what I am hearing Abronye is being held for is what it is, then I'm sorry, Mr. IGP, the Ebuako North a party executive of the NDC is on video, the video is here, saying in clear words that he is going to kill Nana B, the national organizer of the MPP. He's going to kill Afenyo Markins and other MPP people. He said it in Akwetia. He was in a white jalabia, and the video is here. The gentleman is still walking.
Has MPP taken it up?
Yes. A petition has been written to the IGP. He has done nothing about it. So you see, Kojo, you and I should be worried, Emifa.
But these conducts are not moral. They are
I am saying that you should be worried. You should be worried that if I miracles threaten you, like the Ebuako North guy has threatened the Afenyo Markins and Nana B, and we send a petition to the IGP, he does nothing. But when it has to do about him, then he is all over the place trying to show somebody where power lies. We should be worried about that. For me, that is the only concern that I have. Mr. IGP, the time is taken. The days are moving, Emifa. You are going to be on the other side. You are going to be a civilian pretty soon. Are you going to be proud about what you are leaving behind? See, in the past 8 years, you and I have seen several IGPs come and pass and go. And I'm sure when they are home, there are things that they will sit back and say, did I do it right? And I think the IGP needs to do some reflection and ask himself, why is it that I'm selectively applying the law? We were here when Azoka threatened Afenyo Markin on live TV, on your channel. They said they had arrested him. To date, nobody saw when, how, where Azoka was arrested. And yet, 3 nights ago, yesterday, and even this morning, the police have released statements with suspects they had arrested with handcuffs. We see Abronye every day moving up and down with handcuffs. How come we never saw the NDC guy in handcuffs? How come the NDC guys who are threatening everybody across the country are moving freely? That is where my worry is. You are selectively applying the law, and that is not law. That is discrimination.
But at least the Attorney General, if anything Martin Pebo has been saying is anything to go by, the Attorney General says that today they were going to step in. They have an interest in that.
You think it's okay that we are the mercy?
Charges,
no, hold on. You think it's okay?
It's not messy.
You think it's okay that we are the mercy?
But it's not messy.
That we are the mercy and discretion.
It's not.
Now, what is
messy.
It? No, but he's been remanded for 1 week. So if you say the Attorney General is intervening, it's messy. We thank him. We thank him.
Oh dear.
We thank him.
Let's talk about
the most important thing here is that the IGP should just be fair and apply the law equitably, or with equal arms or hands. Is that not the case?
Yeah,
But
as the
it
judge
should
says,
yeah,
we are
there
not
should be-
equal before
No,
the
why
law.
are we not equal? Why? Why do we have social classes? So as we sit here, what is the benchmark to determine your level and my level and Kojo's level? So that we can be measured and know at what point we'll be picked up and at what point we'll not be picked
You
up.
have a morale shirt on.
Yes. So
That's-
I am protected. Then maybe I should give you-
MFA, who's the complainant in this issue? In Abronye's issue?
I haven't come across that.
Okay.
But you see, it's a very legitimate...
Because if you commit a crime, the police can pick you. You don't need an
Yes,
individual.
I wanted to base on that to ask Miracle a question.
What is
Because
the
Miracle
question?
seemed to be
Proceed with the question.
hard on the IGP. Instead of, because it wasn't the IGP who remanded him into prison custody. It was a court.
Oh, of course. But the IGP,
Yes.
you see, but the state goes to pray for the remand.
Yes.
The judge that you
But it
say-
is left for the judge to say, I listen to your prayer or not.
But we know the matter. The lawyers of Abronye had actually been told what the issue is. In fact, they've been played a video where apparently Abronye was using certain words, which the IGP finds unpalatable.
Yes.
You understand? So we know what the issues are, and we know the facts behind these issues. And I'm saying that these are misdemeanor issues.
We get it. But it is not the IGP who says, I'm reminding you
The
to prison
IGP
custody.
is the one, the IGP and the police are the
Yeah.
one prosecuting the matter.
Yes.
So they are the ones praying the court for remand.
Yes.
So what are you talking
But
about?
it is left with the judge to say, or the court to say,
But we've read the
accept or
judge.
not.
We've read the judge quoting memes of Mugabe to make relay. I don't want to see. I am hesitant
to attack the court
in picking on.
Okay, all right.
That's why I'm trying to stay out. But we've read it. I mean, if we have a judge using memes, memes. You haven't seen those memes, those Mugabe quotes, which are actually not Mugabe quotes.
Yeah.
Because that quote, for instance, is an Indian Army quote. But if you have a judge using that, then I mean, we are in trouble. We're in trouble. As for that judge, I'm sure in the next few days he'll probably get a promotion. Because if it is not for a promotion that he's doing what he's doing, then I'm afraid. I am so afraid that right now I don't even know what to say and what not to say, because you may never know. And when you are picked up in the morning, you don't even know which judge you are going to be presented to, and whether the judge is going to use the law or is going to use Mugabe memes.
Well, I think that honestly, Miracles will be all right, because he's not just because he belongs to a political party. We've had legal practitioners saying that for a misdemeanor, the way the matter is being handled is quite untoward. But let's get into Dr. Bawumia and his campaign. So, Dennis, one of the newspapers reported that Dr. Bawumia says that Ghanaians should forgive him. What for particularly? And then the Constitution this morning also says that we'll maintain Bawumia for 2028, Ashanti region speaks. If you have seen a new poll by a new researcher, Dr. Evans Dia, I think, which is putting Kennedy Japan ahead of Bawumia as opposed to Global Info Analytics. I've put all of these three questions together. What is Dr. Bawumia apologizing for? One, if that is true and the newspapers didn't misreport it. And two, if you have seen the polls that says that the sample size that Global Info Analytics used to put Dr. Bawumia as the front runner, the sample size is very small, and so he had increased the sample size and the numbers have changed. Have you seen the polls?
Let me respond to, let me use his own response to deal with it. You see, as for the posters and all of that, I've always said it. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia pays very close attention to the issues behind it, and not necessarily the nominal numbers. Because as for the nominal numbers, data can be manipulated for whatever purposes. But what are the people saying? So any polls that comes up, we take it, we go through it. What are the people saying? What are the feedback? We also test it. And then where we need to tweak, where we need to improve, we'll do that. No doubt about it. Let me not go into the details of the polls. We have already started the journey. My godfather always tells me that when you are in the middle of the battle, that is not when you pause to think whether you want to fight or not. You're already in there. The battle is on. 31st January is just around the corner. I have absolutely no doubt in my head that based on the feedback we have received from the party people across the length and breadth of this country, the MPP as a party knows what to do. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the one the party is going to settle on. That is without doubt. I mean, I've been in this party in my short time for a very long while. I have been through the mill. There's no level in our party that I haven't served at. I know the psyche and the thinking of the party people. Could you, beyond all the noise, all the chaos, all the back and forth, the MPP delegate has one thing in mind. Let's win 2028. So eventually when he goes to the ballot and is going to vote, all the things we've discussed and spoke about do not matter. Only one thing, who it is that is on this ballot that can win us power in the next 1,184 days. That is 2028. And that's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, based on 3 things. Dr. Bawumia's conversation is based on 3 pillars. That he is the most prepared of all the aspirants. He is the most formidable of all the aspirants. And is the winnable of all the aspirants. And these 3 things are the things that matter to the party. That we don't have enough time. 2028 is just around the corner. Who amongst all the people asking us to make flag bearer is ready to take on the fight right from the get-go? That's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. For 16 years, he's been doing politics in this country at the highest level. None of the aspirants can beat him to that. He has been down this journey. He has seen the ropes of the work. He knows when to stop, when to run, when to pause. He knows what to expect. When he enters the strategy room, he's no longer going to wait and say, this is how we do it. He's going to say, the last time, this is what we missed. We did this, we got it right. This, we didn't get it right. Then we amend and we make progress. He has run 5 elections in this country, 4 of which he was a running mate, 1 of which he was the main candidate. He has the psyche and the mental fortitude to know what is ahead of us. Now, what makes him formidable is that we are going to go against an incumbent NDC party that is shameless in the abuse of their incumbency. The NDC is a very shameless political party. When they are abusing their incumbency, they have no shame. They are so raw.
You measured them in 8 months.
Oh, which 8 months? Are they a new political party? We know the NDC. Oh, why are we not in the same industry?
So this shameless.
Didn't they beat us at Ablekuma? Not. Didn't they beat us at Ablekuma? Not. Were you in Akwetia? If you were there, I saw you. When the gentleman was giving you that money, it was part of the monies they were sharing to people to come and vote. Let me just make the point. They are very shameless.
This 8 people that the police said that had been charged and then they were fined. I never saw any document that says that they were NDC.
You're not going to even allow me to. You are going to digress. But let me.
No, but because
have you seen them? Have you seen these 8 people? Did you see them?
I don't have to see
We were the ones beaten.
Okay,
I was there. Jackie protected me. In fact, if there was any, yes, I mean, I owe Jackie a lot of gratitude. I'll never stop saying.
How can she protect?
I've gone into that before.
Anyway.
So you see, if there was proper prosecution, I should be a witness. The person who was beaten was not even called into any matter to even pick any
because they pleaded guilty already.
But who are they? We know the people who beat us. We don't think it is these people.
Wow.
Yes. Because we know the people who beat us, and the people who beat us, we know them, they are working freely. You see, there's something interesting going on in this country here. But the NDC and the few policemen who are helping them to do this, it will come back to bite them. That somebody is beaten. The person makes a complaint. The person never hears from you again. The next day, the person hears that some people have been prosecuted and they've been sentenced and charged to some 8,000 Ghana cedis or 6,000 Ghana cedis. You didn't call me to even come and identify whether these people are actually the people who beat me. But you say you have closed the matter.
But
think about it. You are a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
No, you are a law student.
But it was Telecas.
What was Telecas?
Of course, the Ablekuma North.
I'm telling you that the people they claim they have sent.
Have you seen the people?
They are not the ones who beat us.
Have you seen the people?
But I know those who beat us. They are working freely.
Because it was a fine. They were not
working freely. They haven't been fined.
No, how do you know this?
Because they are not in court.
Because the people.
Because
so
we
these
know
8
them.
people. Have you seen them?
I'm telling you that. See, forget about those I haven't seen. I'm telling you about those who beat me. I know those who beat me.
So I'm trying to let you understand that the tendency of you seeing them still is high because they were fine.
No, you are wrong. We know them. We know those who work at the ports. They are still there. We are in the same industry. They are our friends.
Was the punishment supposed to get them not to work at the port?
No. The punishment was to make sure that I identified those who actually beat me.
The punishment is for you to pay a fine.
But they are working free. They are not the ones who have been fined.
Okay.
You get what I am saying? Okay. So we don't know those who are fined. You are not the ones who were beaten. We were the ones who were beaten. How do you go and pick people and say they beat Hawa Kumsi and Miracles? When Miracles and Hawa Kumsi have not identified to confirm whether they are the people.
Okay, I was the one that took you here. Let's come back.
Now, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia remains the most formidable amongst all of them because we have
the polls don't mean anything.
Because it means something. That's why I've told you that we are working with the information behind.
Okay.
That's what Nameze can be manipulated. And I'm of the view that it has been manipulated. I mean, when you heard Evans tell you that somebody was a smaller sample, let me leave that fight to the posters. They know what they do. Yeah, I have my views on that. Because Evans, for example, is on Ken's team. You understand? Evans is on Ken's team, like it's public. It's on Ken's team. So if you are on Ken's team, You and me, you know me, we have a long-standing relationship. And then I'm running for president. And then you are with me. And then tomorrow you come with the polls. The polls should be questioned.
Okay.
Isn't it? But let's put that aside. In terms of the kind of incumbency or government we are going to face, the party needs a leader that will be able to deal with the situation. And Dr. Bawumia has been there.
Is the Professor Michael Quay report public?
He has put himself in the line of fire for so many years in protecting the MPP and projecting us. And if I look at all those who are running, we need that person that can take on the NDC without looking back. And that's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And finally, and most importantly, is the winnable of all of them. You see, politics is science. Politics is social science as well. In this country, there is a certain electoral history, which is any time you put yourself up for presidency for the first time, the likelihood that the people would make you the president or give you the mandate is low. And the reasons are clear. And that is why in 1996, when President Kufuor came for the first time, in spite of all the likeness that President Kufuor had, the people said, let's allow Rawlings to finish what he's doing. And then take time and hear President Kufuor. Then in 2000, guess what? In the year 2000, President Kufuor was coming for the second time. The person who was going to run against President Kufuor was a certain vice president, Professor Mills. Professor Mills, in spite of all his likability and everything, the people said, we've been listening to President Kufuor for a while. We've heard him for a while. You are coming for the first time. Shall we let you wait a bit and let's get President Kufuor to come in? Then in 2004, remember, so far so good. President Mills came again, but they said, well, Kufuor is on track. Let's get him to finish. In 2008, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was one of the most popular politicians you can find in this country, long-standing member of parliament, very popular foreign affairs minister, came for the first time, was preaching free senior high school, a big thing for this country. But the country said that, no, you just came. We have been listening to Professor Mills for a while. We've soaked and absorbed his vision for a while. Let's give him an opportunity to also deliver. Then we came in 2024. In 2024, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was coming for the first time, articulating his vision for the first time to be president. Even though he was vice president, that was the first time he was putting himself on the ballot. Guess what happened? The people felt that whatever it is John Mahama, His Excellency, has been telling us in the past 8 years, maybe it's time for us to get him to also deliver for us. Whilst we take time to listen and soak your vision.
What's the catch?
Hold on, to soak your vision as vice president. Now, the point here is that the history of elections in this country clearly indicates that anytime you come as a first-timer, the probability of winning that first-time election is almost zero. And that when you come against a candidate that is coming either the second or third time, that candidate is likely to win ahead of you. This is data. Now, as a party, when we have data and science staring at us, we cannot go for assumption. So you hear the other aspirants say that we can win. Yes, me, I can win. I am popular. It is true. You could win. You could get 80%. You could get 60, 70% in the 2028 elections. But these are just your words. This is you telling us to assume and hope that you can win. As against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has actually gone into the contest before, and we have an opportunity of going against an NDC candidate who is coming for the first time. That candidate has never, ever run a contest. The NDC are changing their candidate. So the MPP's advantage in this election is that we get to present a candidate that has gone for an election before against an NDC candidate that is coming for the first time. What does the electoral history and political science tell us? If you bring a candidate for the first time against a repeat candidate, that candidate is likely to beat your repeat candidate. And that is one of the things that make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the leading candidate in this contest.
Has said that John Mahama was defeated by the MPP in 2016 by around 1 million votes. Now, it took him 8 years to win back. And then if you were defeated by 1.7, he says, how many years will it take? Isn't that a good enough question you think your party people will be, sort of giving some mind to say, well, this might take us a longer time and therefore we need to change?
I think we maybe that is even a more reason why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is in pole position ahead of them. So let's work with that mathematics. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you claim, has a deficit of 1.7 million, what it means is that you are admitting the votes you got from the previous elections. Is that not the case?
Yes.
Against you, who doesn't have any because you haven't run the contest at all? Who has a longer deficit or a bigger deficit to fix? Obviously, it's you. Because you, if we're going to work on the assumption that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ran a contest and has 41.7%, and that assumption is correct and stands, then how about you who has 0 and you haven't been tested at all? What you are asking us to do is to work with assumptions. An assumption that when we bring you, you could get more.
Because he believes he's popular, he has what he cuts.
Okay. We don't work with belief, we work with numbers. So if the MPP has a choice to make between a candidate that is asking us to hope and believe versus a candidate that has numbers to show and says that, listen, I ran one, I had 41.7%, I have a 9% gap to fix. If all things should stand constant, like they are doing in the mathematics, because with the mathematics they are doing, it means that they are holding all variables constant. If all things should stand constant, it means that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has a 9% gap to fix. Would you leave a 9% gap and go for an assumption which is starting from 0? And that is where the problem is. And that is where the logic in that conversation is. Do you know the gap Dr. Danado Dankwa Akufo-Addo came in 2012 elections with and where it went to? So that assumption is completely flawed. It's a completely flawed mathematics. If we're going to use mathematics, then we should also pick the probability theory and say that probability of you who is coming for the first time from a 0 winning the elections is way lower than the probability of somebody that has gone in before, tested himself before, and knows where the gap is. That conversation is extremely important. Okay. And it's a determining factor as to who it is that can lead our party going into the next elections. And I like that conversation because that conversation, no matter the scenario, puts Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ahead of all the other candidates.
What's he apologizing for? I'm quite curious.
Yeah.
And a concern that seems to suggest that the Professor Michael Quay reports must have been read by him. Yeah. You can confirm or debunk this. Because I have tried to search the document. You have said that, I recall the last time we had a conversation here, you said that that report is an internal document. You were not going to discuss it. Of course it is. So Dr. Bawumia seems to be very confident that the purported factors, what people are pushing, is the reason why he lost. He says they're not.
So first of all, let me make a quick correction here. The Michael Quay report is not as if it's been hidden from everybody. The truth of the matter is that National Council received a full-blown presentation of the Michael Quay report at the National Council meeting. So National Council members, who are like the main people beyond conference, have actually seen the report or seen a summary of the report. It was presented at National Council. Okay. The committee came to present all the facts and the issues and the recommendations and the way forward. So anybody that tells you that nobody has seen the report, the person is completely lying. What it is that document, which holds the report, cannot be put out there for everybody. We are in a competition. We are competing against an opponent like NDC. And you are saying that our strategic document, that has a diagnosis, that has recommendations, should be put out there for our opponent to pick on it. Then what are we doing to ourselves? So the people in the party from, and National Council is a large body, very large body, have seen the document.
So it's not surprising if anybody cites it, right?
No. I mean, you may cite it, but if you're not having the entire document, which puts our, issues in the hands of our opponents, then we are.
Let's get it right.
No, let me come to the whole apology.
I'll let you go there, but this is on the report.
Yeah.
Are you saying here and now that every member of the National Council has the full document?
No. I am saying that every member of the National Council has had an opportunity to know what is in the document.
Not the full document itself.
Oh, but you see, the document.
What difference does it make anyway?
It
full or half?
Exactly.
What difference does it make?
No, because if someone comes here, if someone from today releases a certain portion and claims it is part, then we can say either this guy said, oh, they didn't get a full document. So clarity is good.
None of them have the
full document. Okay, that's fine.
But the committee made a presentation of the issues in the report. And you see, it makes sense. Like I said, National Council is a big body. If you put your strategic document in the hands of everybody at the National Council, basically you have sold the future of
Okay, go to the apology.
To our opponent.
All right.
Now, The
so,
committee
again,
reports...
quickly before you go to the apology, where would Dr. Bawumia, how did he know that the factors that led to the defeat in 2024 would not include religion, tribe, and all the others?
Because it was presented at the National Council.
Okay.
It was part of the committee's report that was presented at the National Council.
Okay.
National Council had the opportunity to hear from the committee report and understand the issues and the factors that led to the party's defeat.
Okay.
And that did not include issues of religion. Because in Ghana, really, nobody votes. Nobody picks the ID card to go and vote for a tribesman or a religious, a person. I don't think anybody does. I think people are really strongly affiliated to political parties.
So
but not necessarily religion or tribes.
What's he really apologizing for?
Well, you see, as a party, we chalked several successes. But we also had a lot of low downs. No doubt about that. And especially to our delegates. We owe them a lot of apologies because there are certain specific things that they referenced once we were in office. And we're asking that the government should do, which we didn't do. Which have found itself reflected in the Michael Quay's report as one of the reasons why they did not turn out. Because, every research that has come post the election shows that a lot of MPP people were angry and they didn't turn out. Why were they angry? Well, you didn't listen to us. There were things we told you to do. For example, party people were asking for reshuffle of ministers. The government didn't do it.
But if a government is seen to be listening to delegates every now and then, what would that make of a government?
Why not? The party is not made up of only those who are in government. The party is made up of all the delegates, including those at the...
If I give you power, it's because I trust that you can take decisions for me.
Yes.
So if I give you power and then in the next minute I'm asking that do this, is that feasible?
I make inputs. And you see, if you don't do it, then give me results. If you don't do it, then give me results. But if you don't do it and you don't get results, then you owe me an apology, isn't it? Okay. And that is why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not the only... when we started or post-elections, we had the thank you tour. The thank you tour. And at the thank you tour, that is where the General Secretary actually outlined the issues from the Michael Quay's report.
Okay.
Because he has a copy.
Yeah.
Outlined the issues from the Michael Quay report.
Okay.
And then went ahead to issue apologies where they are necessary.
Okay.
And I think that so far, the party people and the Ghanaian people have received this apology in very good faith. Okay. What it means is that you have identified clearly where your gaps are and you are preparing to do right when giving the
Thank you very much, Miracle. This one says, Dr. Bawumia is a formidable candidate for the 2028 elections, distinguished by his extensive experience, meticulous preparation, and considerable electoral appeal. His notable attributes, including humility, compassion, exceptional leadership acumen, integrity, intellectual rigor, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence, positions him as a compelling figure to spearhead and unify the New Patriotic Party going into the 2028 general elections in Ghana. No amount of insult, lies, or shenanigan can change that. Mancha Bruce, the second in Takrady. He brought a very lengthy one, but we just have to leave it here.
Well, Kujo, always a pleasure having Dennis. I know, it's a long week.
Yeah,
we'll have you again. But the time, look at the time.
2 seconds. Please, as I leave, all of you should join the citizens of this country on 23rd September for the protest. But most importantly, please, let's get the president to come and give us a better response to Kojo Yangson's question on Galamsey. The president has given us the weakest remarks by any president we can remember when it comes to the way he wants to tackle Galamsey. And if we don't deal with it, he's going to run this country.
Thank you for using your 2 seconds judiciously. But we've been joined by Dennis Miracles of Waji, aide to Dr. Bawumia. Always a pleasure to have him in the studio. You're watching the AM show. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Okay, welcome back to the AM show. Let's talk about the 2025 African Oil Week conference because it's starting today, 15th September 2025, to Thursday, 18th September 2025. The conference, which will be graced by policymakers, petroleum producers, investors, among others, is to unite industry leaders to develop policy, share discoveries, secure investment, and shape, Africa's energy future. Joining me in studio today is the West Africa lead for Deloitte Energy, Resources and Industry, as well as partner tax and regulatory Deloitte West Africa, Olumide Isan. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
I hope all is well.
Thank you for having me.
Am I right to guess you are from Nigeria?
Yes, I'm from West Africa.
Okay. Ghana jollof, Nigeria jollof.
I had last night.
You had which one, Ghana jollof or Nigeria? Ghana. So you love Ghana jollof. And also joining him is partner tax and regulatory Deloitte West Africa. Okay, it's his deputy, rather, and also partner tax and regulatory Deloitte West Africa, Gideon Ayo. Gideon, good morning.
Good morning.
You're a Ghana?
Yes.
So that is Teyoten. Good. My guy is coming up. Now, let me start with you, Isan, on this. How important is this conference to Deloitte and the value proposition to the African continent? We've always been talking about, we find oil here, we're exploring this, but people always talk about the oil curse. How important is this conference to the African continent?
Yeah, thanks for that beautiful question. The African Oil Week is the premier oil and gas conference in Africa. And what it does is brings together, governments, policymakers, the producers, both independent ones, African-based ones, and also the international oil companies, brings the African, oil field service providers, and even original equipment manufacturers together, lenders. So it brings the entire ecosystem together to discuss Africa energy future. We are aware of the ongoing energy transition that borders on energy security, access and affordability, and also sustainability. Now, bringing everyone together in one room over a period of 4 days, it's a good way to actually shape the future of African energy security. I mean, we all know the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 7 speaks to energy access. Right now in Africa, just in sub-Saharan Africa especially, just about 50% have access to grid power, and just about 17% have access to clean cooking energy. So we are rich in resources, but poor in energy. And so, it's really important to have this kind of conferences that gets everyone to talk together from, policymakers, so that they make policies that encourage investors to bring money into Africa, to invest, to produce, create employment, and also do that sustainably.
I mean, when I was in the university, I had a Nigerian friend who said, Ghanaians are good with conferences and research. This is not Ghana matter. This is the whole of Africa. Yeah. We have several conferences, yet you don't have commensurate impact in terms of implementing the sort of ideas that are shared. So how different will this African Oil Week be, such that after the conference, we will be able to tell that the conference said A, B, C, and next year we'll be able to count indeed the implementation of this ABC?
I mean, that's a very good question, and I've heard that a number of times. We have these conferences and nothing happens afterwards. But I think first to mention is that this is the first time the conference is coming to West Africa, right? And so it's a privilege that we are, as West African, hosting the Oil and Gas Week. But then it hasn't always been about what has been said. It's about, policy inconsistency on the part of the government, right? Okay. I think we're beginning to see a significant mind shift. Governments recognizing that investors, they are not for profit making, okay? They are here to make profit. So the policies we should be making now should be such that it's increasing the size of the pie, so that the government take can increase without hurting the investors. The investors need to have decent returns on their investment. On the government side, we also need to have, improved government take. But beyond that is our macroeconomics. These investments, would they, lead to increase in employment? Would they help us alleviate the energy poverty we are dealing with in Africa? I mean, those are the kind of conversations we will be having, in this particular conference. And I'm glad that Deloitte is supporting this event, because we are passionate about Africa, right? And we're striving to make the impact that really matters. We want Africa to meet the SDG 7 goal. We want everyone to have access to energy and in a sustainable fashion, and such that they can afford it as well. So I'm hoping that this one, the kind of discussions we'll be having will be tailored more towards action, right? Okay. Which will be, if you like, a departure from, maybe what we've had in the past.
Okay. Let me bring in Ayo now. I understand Deloitte is the knowledge partner for this conference. Can you share with us, what your role exactly is and the expectation of this important conference to you?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, as thought leaders, Deloitte, we have together across Africa globally some of the best minds when we talk about tax, consulting, and industry-wise in energy. So we've pulled together all these resources. We have persons coming from France, Deloitte, Olumide is here from Nigeria, we have South Africa, Angola. So we've pulled together all these resources to support. And as he mentioned, this is the first time it's coming to Ghana. It's usually been held in Cape Town. So all this coming together, we bring in our knowledge and experience and making sure that we're able to contribute to these discussions and making the inputs that matter. So relevant, thoughtful inputs and making sure that all the policymakers, the regulators, etc., who are coming over here will have the right kind of discussions and we also contribute ours. So if you have somebody coming from France and they are in energy transition and he knows what they've experienced, and we are talking ABC, he's able to then bring his discussion and say, hey, this is natural gas, this is what you have to do. Can we do a lot more transactions amongst ourselves or get the pipeline? Because if you have natural gas and you don't have the infrastructure, you don't fully benefit. So these are some of the ways discussions we are bringing on board.
But what are the projects Deloitte has executed or has been pursuing in this energy, resources, and industries area that has, helped shape the African economy?
Oh, that's a lot. I don't know if you have enough time.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so basically what we do is, as I said, we have in-house, whether in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, we have a lot of experts. Olumide brings so many years of experience from oil majors in-house. So what we then do is if there's a project, and for example in Ghana here, and we don't have the necessary or right expertise, we don't hesitate to call somebody on and say, Olumide, we have this project here in Ghana, can you come and assist us? Or we say Ghana is about to do a pipeline from maybe Takoradi to Cote d'Ivoire or something. Can you bring your experience? Nigeria has pipelines. What is it? So this is how we do our interaction. So from Angola to Mozambique, all these areas, we have experts in these areas, and we're able to call on them at each and every point in time that we require.
Olumide, I guess because of that, there have been some complex challenges that Deloitte has faced. How have you been able to manage all of these complex difficulties, especially Nigeria has been a giant for quite a long time? So how has Deloitte been able to manage all of these complexities and challenges in the sector?
Yeah, so thanks. I would say first that we are not an oil producing company. So we're in the advisory business. But then we are the leading multidisciplinary advisory business. So which means that we've got global expertise that are deep across a number of industries, and that includes the energy industry. And even within the energy industry, we have specific deep expertise in energy and chemicals. Right, so we bring our technological expertise to bear and help our clients cut through complexity in their businesses. We help them to simplify their businesses. If you look at data analytics, for example, and AI, it could help even a refinery operator to implement what we call a predictive maintenance culture. And this is basically employing technology to help you determine when exactly you should be carrying out maintenance. We are leading in that field, and we bring that expertise to support our clients. Look at agentic AI, for example, and AI that can think on its own. That is where we help. We help clients, for example, limit human intervention in how they run their businesses. Right. We help with human capital transformation because you want the right people to run your business for you. We help the organization end-to-end with business process solutions. This is how we've helped clients to increase efficiency significantly, but also helping them to integrate technology into their businesses. Now you see all these big companies now going the path of digitalization. That is what we do. That is how we help both the government and the companies to win.
And I guess that will be quite evident at this particular conference, the African Oil Week 2025, where Deloitte is the knowledge partner. We would be looking forward to see how it goes. But before I go, maybe Ayo, you have the final words. What will be your final departing words to our viewers?
So what I want to say is that we look forward to making an impact that matters. That's what Deloitte does. And so as we talk to policymakers, regulators across the continent, We want to share the ideas and make sure that we get action on it and make life better for everyone. I hear the discussion on tariffs this morning, and it's about energy, reliability and accessibility and the cost of it. If it's too expensive, we don't get the full benefit. So anybody who has invites, or please pass around and let's communicate and talk more.
Okay, so you just heard me speak to, giant from Deloitte, Olumide Isan, who came from Nigeria with Sam Egba. He is the West African leader for energy, resources and industries, Deloitte, and partner, tax and legal. Also, Gideon IEO is deputy leader, energy resources and industries, and partner, tax and legal at Deloitte. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. And this is still the AM show. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay.
Hello there, welcome back to the AM show. Now let's talk about the Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition and Biannual Environment, Science and Technology Forum 2025. And joining us in studio this morning is Daniel Otri Cheneboa, Officer at AGI, or BDS Officer at AGI, and also Christopher Latte, Head, Ghana Innovation and Research Commercialization, GIRC Center, MEST. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much, Amifa.
It's another year and the forum is here again, but let's get to know who are they. I'll come to you, Daniel. Who is that driving force under this year's summit?
All right, thank you very much for the question. So the Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition is a forum for industrialists to assemble and dialogue on progressive steps. Then when it has to do with industrialists, then you know that the foremost voice of the private sector, that's AGI, will take center stage. And that's what's happening this year at the Ghana Industrial Summit. AGI leads the organization of this summit, of course, with very dependable and reliable partners over the years, like the VRA, the European Union, and this year we have MEST also coming on board. So as we go on, we'll delve more into it.
Let me stay with you and tell us about the theme this year and what it means to the stakeholders involved.
All right, certainly. So this year's theme is Unlocking Industrial Potential.
That's big. What does that even mean?
All right, so let me break it down. So we're taking inspiration from the government's policy on the 24-hour policy. You're having an industry that runs over the clock. And we are looking at how Ghana could be positioned to leverage this and make the most of this. So we're looking at it from the angle of policymakers, looking at it from the angle of industrialists, and looking at it from the angle of researchers or academia to see how we could coordinate and pool our resources together and make this work and be a success. So that's basically how
where does this concern the European Union and even the VRA?
Exactly. So VRA, we know what they do more to power generation, and you need to keep your lights on. You need to have reliable power to operate around the clock. And the European Union, as they've always been a development partner, has greater interest, especially in the agri-business sector. And in Ghana, about 70% of businesses are within that sector. So it aligns greatly with their focus on Ghana. And we'll see how they can also support us to make the most of these if we want to create an economy that's around the clock.
Right, very well said, Daniel. Christopher, I'll come to you. So for years, this has been happening, but this year it looks like the Ministry for Environment, Science and Technology seems to have taken a keen interest in this. What's concerned to you about this, and why are you partnering with them?
Thank you very much. So the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, since its creation, is meant to commercialize research. You know, we have many institutions and agencies under the ministry whose responsibility mainly are to research. And so the ministry has the responsibility and the mandate to then commercialize the research outputs. It is not enough to just produce research papers and make presentations and publish them. What's the intention for our research institutions, universities, are to bring out these groundbreaking researches so that they could create jobs, we could commercialize for job creation, for development and all that. So the ministry has that responsibility. And partnering with AGI this year, we want to you know, when we move from research, the next stage is to go for the startups, for the entrepreneurs to then make whatever the researches are into consumables, into something that could be used, creating jobs and all that. So partnering with AGI this year is to continue the engagement we've been having all these years and also to come on board officially for the forum.
That's good to know, because for the ministry, it will be a very good drive. It will be the very best tool or vehicle to move it from the documents to the startup, you know, the actual implementation state. But in what capacity will MEST or MEST, for those who don't know, what capacity are you supporting or being part of this partnership? What capacity?
Yes, so we've been engaging, and what we are bringing on board this year is that we are bringing all our agencies. We have many agencies. We have the EPA, Environmental Protection Authority. We have CSIR, whose CSIR's main agenda or mandate is to research for national development. So we are bringing all of them. There are 13 institutes to bring out and exhibit their groundbreaking researches, you know. And then we also NRA, National.
Of course, by all means.
Yes.
Well, whilst you're at it, maybe
National Biosafety Authority, we have Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, we have Nuclear Regulatory Authority. All these institutions which are under MEST, we are bringing them to the forum to make the conversations richer for policy development and for, of course, the way forward in terms of commercializing research.
Okay, I'll come to Daniel. And Daniel, when I come back to you, Christopher, my question will be, which programs, especially under MEST, which MEST programs will be featuring in this year's program? But Daniel, tell us more about the event. I'm curious about the speakers and everything that we need to know about the event this year.
All right, so the event takes place from tomorrow, that's 16th, to 18th, that's Thursday, at the Palms Convention Center. And I'll repeat, the Palms Convention Center, we've had a change in venue. So please, viewers, take note of the new venue, Palms Convention Center, inside the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
Okay.
So it would be a 3-day session, and we would have sessions for policy dialogue, where we'll have the 24-hour secretariat coming on, and the Presidential Special Initiative on Agribusiness, they'll also be taking their session. We'll have a session for the private sector, where we'll have the banks taking center stage to also talk about their packages. We also have the pharmaceutical sector also taking a session during the period. We also have a session for academia, where MEST will delve more into. On the 3rd day, we have the Energy Day, where VRA will take more of the time with the renewable spaces as well. Practitioners in that space also coming on board to shed more light on the various energy mixes and options available. And later on the Thursday, we launched the Incubum Collaborative, which is also seeking to
the what, Incubum Collaborative, yes. Okay.
Empower young entrepreneurs in the agri-food sector. And it will be climaxed by a pitch contest for 5 startups.
Okay, and what's in it for the winner?
I'm curious. 10,000 USD.
How much?
10,000 USD.
Well, Adubia and Loretta, let's put our pitch together, please. Okay, because that's some really good money. And I want you to just reiterate the theme again, because out of this team, you have extended it by having niche topics for people, industries, to be the ones that talking about it. What's the theme again?
Okay, so the theme is Unlocking Industrial Potential, Strategic Approaches for Ghana's Economic Transformation. Quite a mouthful, but Unlocking Industrial Potential, Strategic Approaches for Ghana's Industrial Transformation.
Brad Daniel, you said the pitch, you know, the winner takes how much?
Okay, so thanks to MasterCard Foundation and McGill University for making it happen. So the idea is to support these startups. You know, they face a lot of challenges, so 10,000 USD is a seed funding.
Okay. Christopher, let's get some who are also the learners to understand what kind of programs MEST would as well be introducing or discussing on the event, or during the event.
So our interest this year is to talk about innovation financing. So we are bringing those who matter in the space to talk about how young innovators, young entrepreneurs, startups could get financing, because that's one of the huge areas that bring problems for young innovators. So how to get some financing to to be able to propel them to get to the stage where they can be on their own. So we'll be talking about that, and we have banks coming on board to also talk to the participants on some potential financial supports and all that. So that's what...
That's really great. Why? Because I can learn from here, impute it in my pitch, and go and win that money.
Exactly.
Easy. That's free apport for you. So you should be listening. You don't want to miss out on it. But Daniel, I hear you mention one of the sponsors, MasterCard Foundation. I'll give you the opportunity to tell us about the other sponsors as well.
Sure. So we have the European Union coming on board.
Okay.
So through MEST, we also have the Bank of Africa coming on board. We have Republic Bank also coming on board. Permit me, I don't want to leave anyone out.
Okay, I totally understand. Yeah.
They're giving us money, so it's a lot of
problems. Out of that money, you're actually giving that $10,000. It's like it's haunting me. What can I start talking about? Is it a bro or pepper or green pepper farming or something?
All right, so I have them here now.
Okay.
So we have the VRA also on board. We have the GIZ PharmaVax project.
Oh yeah.
We have the Riser Fund. We have Nexans Cable. We have Bank of Africa, Republic Bank, APSA, and also we have multimedia support.
You see, I won't end the interview, but thank you so much. But Christopher, I'll take your final words and why people should be part. It's just from the date again, from 16th to 18th.
At the Palms Convention Center.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us.
My final words are that we are expecting all innovators, all researchers, the industry players to come. Let us have a discussion. Let us learn and then commercialize whatever we have on paper. It's not good enough to, publish. We have to commercialize. So we are expecting all of them, everybody, researchers, to come.
Christopher, I totally agree. Daniel, I'll take your final words.
All right, so thank you very much for the audience. So once again, we've had a change of venue. We are now having it at the Palms Convention Center, 16th to 18th. So the venue is changed, but everything else remains. The lineup, we have a lineup of thought leaders and very knowledgeable speakers coming on board throughout the 3 days. An avenue to also network. So we urge everyone hearing us to make it a point to attend. And I believe that will be a very eventful time with us. Thank you.
I wish you all the best as well, Daniel and Christopher. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks for having us.
You're still watching the AM show. Of course you want to stay because there's more on the show. Watching the AM show. Now let's go to Hamile in the Upper West region, where one Pagan young youth bent down the vehicle of the Ghana Immigration Service yesterday at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border of an alleged complicity of the migration or immigration personnel in aiding the entry of some Burkina Bay gunmen, leaving one person dead amid the tensions. We go for updates from our correspondent, Rafiq. Rafiq, if you can hear me, what's the situation this morning before you take us back to how it happened yesterday? Can you unmute if you can hear me, Rafiq? We'll try again.
Hello, are you
yes, we can hear you.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Rafiq.
Okay, the situation at the Hamile border at the moment is calm than what we experienced the past 24 hours. The Ghana immigration officer in question, whose name has always been given as Morris, who was detained at the custody of the service, was yesterday released, was taken off from that custody to another custody with the help of the district chief executive for the Lambuse district in the person of Erenusa Basimbi, and also through the help of the Nandom Na, who came to the aid, pleaded with the people who were protesting over what transpired at the area. And so he's now being moved from the Ghana Immigration Office at the Hamile border to a proper custody, as we are told.
Right.
But the youth are still insistent that what they want is that they want to see that woman who was held at gunpoint, bundled into a car and taken out of the country to neighboring Burkina Faso. And so they are still not pleased with what happened, though the immigration officer in question has been taken out of the area to another area. They are still not happy.
Right. Rafiq, for those who are just joining us this morning and do not understand the story properly, bring us context. Exactly what happened yesterday?
The information that we had was that there's a woman called Juangrana Ajara, who is of Burkinabe extraction, but because of the insecurity in that country, has moved with their husband and like the other family members to Ivory Coast, to be precise, at Abidjan. And this woman has external family relations in Ghana, to be precise, at Hamele, and then also around the Nondom enclave. And so the woman, the information that we had is that came to town last Thursday to be part of an Islamic wedding that was scheduled to take place on Saturday and Sunday at Nandom. So on arrival at Nandom, on arrival at Hamele, she decided to pay a visit to some family relations at Nandom with a motorbike as a pillion rider. And so the other information that we had who led to agitation also that, if you go to the Hamele border or the checkpoint, what usually happens is that after 6 p.m., the gates of the border are closed after 6 p.m. So they're only opened after 6 a.m. And so if you are even a Ghanaian coming into the country from the Burkina Faso end, what usually happens is that you will not be allowed to come into the country with your car, but you have to alight from your car, leave the car at the other side and walk into the Ghana territory. And then the next day you can go and pick your vehicle. But what happened was that there were 2 cars. One was a Toyota Camry, the other was a RAV4. These 2 vehicles, according to the protesters, came into the country after 6 p.m. The immigration official allowed them into the country, chauffeured, driven them, dodged the main police barrier at Hamele, and then moved onto the road again, heading to Nondom. And so the woman getting to the middle, halfway through her journey, was somehow crossed by the 2 vehicles on a motorbike, and then also asked to join the 2 vehicles. The woman refused, and then even the man who was even taking her there said, no way, you won't allow that to happen. And there was another person who also came to join the scene. But these people from Burkina Faso, these are known as sailors from Burkina Faso, came, removed their guns and hijacked them at gunpoint, bundled the woman into the car, and then took her back to the border. It was there that they met this so-called immigration officer, whose name has only been given as Morris, and who told his colleagues that this was a woman who, there was somebody on the car who was seriously sick, and they were transporting that person into Burkina Faso. So he allegedly went and opened the border gate for them to move away. And so that is what really incensed the people, because this happened after 9 p.m. After 9 p.m. And so the people are saying that at least.
I hope that I've not lost you, Rafiq.
They have seen some protocol breaches, security breaches into their country for to do. And so that was what.
So in essence, if I understand you, these young persons or the youth who are quite angry, causing this unrest. Happened,
and so the immigration officer and the officer understand there was that really led to the unrest. And so they came up and even banned one of the vehicles belonged to the Ghana Immigration Service, and also another private car that they really banned that particular area. But they also banned ties. But also, what also happened was that there was a woman who was alleged to come to the area, heard a lot of insults on the immigration officers, and later she allegedly collapsed, was rushed to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. That really aggravated the tensions in the area, and so the people said that either they bring the woman back or they wouldn't leave the scene, and that was what happened. And later the DC of the area and the Nanomna came to their aid and then helped to solve matters.
So Rafiq, this person whom we're reporting has passed, this woman, is reportedly to have passed because she collapsed and was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced dead?
Yes, this was a woman who was part of the protesters. I think in the middle of the her protestation, she collapsed and then was rushed to the hospital. That was where she was pronounced dead.
Okay, so basically the youth of Hamile are accusing the immigration officer of aiding gunmen into the country.
Yes, that's what they are accusing him of, because they are thinking that the rule is clear. You can't leave the country or get into the country after 6
p.m. Okay.
But this gunman from alleged gunman from Burkina Faso came into the country with 2 vehicles, also loaded with guns. Loaded with guns, and they came to the country, allegedly kidnapped this woman and took her back to the border, and where he opened the border gate again for them, at the pretext that the person who was in the car was seriously sick, and they were taking her to Burkina Faso for medical care.
And for clarity, this woman you're talking about is the woman who earlier is seeking asylum in Ghana.
Yeah, this is the woman who, because of the insecurity in Burkina Faso, relocated to Abidjan, and that's where she's been domiciled with her family.
Okay, and only visiting. Okay.
Yes, only came to Ghana because of the Islamic marriage that they were supposed to do on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, okay. Do we know her whereabouts?
They are thinking that the immigration officer is complicit because he has at least information, prior information about the movement of the woman. Because we just can't come from Burkina Faso, come into Ghana and know where exactly the woman was, and even on the middle of the road, and that was where they really allegedly bundled the woman into the car and taken out of the country.
Okay, so as of this morning, we still do not know whether they have returned her or she has successfully crossed and that she's gone. We don't have any updates on her.
As we speak now, the woman is out of the country. The immigration officer in question was the one who allegedly connived with the Burkinabe authorities, whoever that person was, or the unknown assailants, and to open the border gate for them to take the woman away. As we speak now, there's no information about the woman, and that's why the youth are still agitated.
Okay, and you're confirming to us that this immigration officer, in the middle of this unrest, has been taken to custody by the immigration service around that borderline area.
Initially, he was somehow taken into their custody at the border there, but the youth have really marched around that area, saying that they will not allow, protesting that they will not allow him to be taken away, because the immigration office, authority, we are told that we're trying to find a way of getting this guy out into a proper custody so that they can investigate on what actually transpired. But the youth were insisting that now that the woman was not around, they wouldn't allow that to happen. Even at the case that they lost a woman in the middle of the protest, they were insisting that they would kill the immigration officer. But we are also told that this is an immigration officer who's been there for long and also married somebody from the area, and the wife is even 8 months pregnant.
Okay, Rafiq, stay with me as I'll take both you and our viewers on the phone to have a little conversation with Mohammed Mujahideen, who is the spokesperson for these youth who are on rampage or are happy about the developments yesterday. And if you can hear me, sir, what has caused the unrest?
Yeah, I know the I me ba me yere o Cote d'Ivoire. Thursday so you were I from family. I no free eba hamile se nyambo atade yebaya ayofro no ebeti nandom anza ba fa no ma bi ba hamile ni na obi no ma aka ho na odi ba hamile ho na omo fe no omo no ma ka ho e na odi sa ni pakro no ma so odi ba kwa ma no ewa o nandom ebi ko ye no ansa na obaba no onu menana omo firi nandom ba no na kas mienu adi omachi omo bodi kwan so na omo di kas no e cross omo no no that Burkina Faso and a basa omo yes anu e na omo gina ya e na omo chi woman no e da sheka no e na menana no e na odwane na bentie bi so e wo ho abrantie no try so obaji oba no e na omo push oba no e na omo sanfa cars no it is Commandom Road to say omo conundrum no know that omo ko branch afọ kono bi adi be doji hamili police barrier omo doji hamili police barrier adi be pie kurom no know that one migration office and a leader omo one migration officer and a leader omo yes sir
mo hu sa immigration officer yi so yes na say mo susu say immigration officer no
ya hunu migration officer no.
Okay. Now, adentia na mo ni jide wo immigration officer ni mo say ono no okuta mra no wo border no nti so hu say ne obi situation tia obetimi amakwan say nipa ne betimi across adna mo ni jide wo ni mo
ye wo jide wo ni mo but ai migration of oba no ofri Cote d'Ivoire no omo of Ghana and oba hamili but migration officer no ya bisa migration officer no osi obi na we bobo and order no number ema omo amudi cars no e ba ye no on ba ye no so omo am report ma obia oni migration officer na woni nam krom e yo mo business ansa na ombeduru hamile no oba da custom officers any immigration officers see ayi omo amoba no omo mame bi na ayare e no mo ko fa no firi ayi nandom so mo ko ka fa no yare abra ono kura no oni duty border post no so around check aya no mo loko customs ado mo kredo loko any immigration force aloko mo die oko dada custom for no eno samba dada miki for no aji kisi ako bie bodo no amomwa.
Okay, Mohammed, na ade na we nyina no man report ama police na mo ankasa mo de mbrani she mo nsem enti dia yehwa no wo TV so no wonyan mo nkonmanom na ya na ye hu se mo ahye cars mo hye car ties eja dem wo ye screen yi so ade bia obetimi aja to mo se wonyan nkonmanom na ya na
ya abas no ya ko report ma police ko but on say krum asambasi krum sanu amafo no doso say be to control amafo no enye easy say yes I ko reporting ma police for no and reporting ma ai migration boss kurano and omo ki ta migration officer no ati say
omo chene tete ya na so omo chene se ne be ya se ne na moboefu no ebia monkopra no.
Okay, so na yebuofu no ntina ai omo china to say
na endra police for number ho ana omantimi ambe so mumu na basabasa ye ne njaya na
na police for baby military for baby but man for no does too much.
Na Mohammed yesi endra mami bia na okamo ho no ono so nen owuye omode ne ko hospital no yesi we fainti e obetimi
ono so ya ai minu ayere anu na ofirim
mati adikonti ai mani frimu
ote
denti no frimu
because I obana epete ya you from no oya neba Inti enam onu suntina omuti mameni. Omuso na fe mameno so omda yifo no. Enam santina onu so ba office maybe. Ena obey didi. Ena ofia ka na ede no for hospital yakodu ya.
Na anope yenyome mu te se wo honom enipa no omakoma to omoye mo magyae car tie ne hye ne cars na mo hyehye ne ndra no mo gyae.
So sesi ano any immigration for any military for you go say meeting and sana mo payment.
Meeting no ye de ba da na ye ka ho asem meeting no.
Because migration for the military for no. Any krom panyum for no. Omo frɛ boys ne nyina krom for no nyina say de be bia omo mfa no say nyame na de bae. Nti omo nje pass no ma mpanyum for. Omo na new fire ombapa ama mo fa ya yiro no esande bre. Nti omo mbie borders no na omo nje de no na bibia ancho.
Okay, inti mo meeting na se ne be koye no mo be ma ya so ate me bo a. Me pa cho ene wunu anu mon kasa.
De be bia mo sambati.
Yo, ene wunu anu mon kasa se kata ne eja ne hye ne de end solve problem no. Why?
Yo, Mati.
Yo, yeah, that's the only akasa.
Yo, me that's it.
Well, I'll give you a wrap on what's happening, but my colleague Rafiq Salam has already given us essentially what had happened between yesterday and this morning. You're still watching the AM show, but right now I shall take you to the opening ceremony for the launch of the Open Society Foundation Democracy Days. Please stay.
We live here with a renewed sense of responsibility to translate our ideas into action. Finally, and especially for the non-Ghanaians, this is Ghana, where I spent the last 15 years of my life. The only country where the stars shine black in the world. Where warmth welcomes you, from high life beats to hospitality. Ghana, where every handshake is a blessing and where every journey begins with a smile. Please do your favor, do yourself the favor, amidst the tight schedule, to explore the Ghanaian Aquabac hospitality. And once again, welcome and thank you for being part of this landmark occasion.
Thank you very much. I would now like to ask Professor Ali Bisegu to make his remarks. And Prof. Segu is Head of Department of Political Science at the University of
Good morning. So, currently the head of department is Dr. Isaac Osumensa. I am now the Executive Secretary for Water Resources Commission and then the NDC parliamentary candidate for Tamale Central. Timely research and report. If you look at the varieties of democracy project data, it suggests that 1/3 of the world's population, that is about 2.6 billion people, now lives in countries undergoing autocratization. This is largely due to the fact that democracy is supposed to provide a set of dividends or benefits. And these benefits have largely not been met over the years, or even if it is so, not to the expectation of the people who have voted for governments or elected governments into power. Largely due to the disagreements in even defining democracy or conceptualizing democracy, and even the different typologies and the impact of the typologies and the way it is conceptually unpacked to the lives of the people, it becomes very difficult to measure the benefits of democracy at a one-off moment. So you often see in one particular breath, we talk about consensus-oriented democracy, and that speaks to one core value of democracy and democratic practice. we can speak to participatory democracy. That basically speaks to one form of democratic character and how it influences and impacts people's life. Social democracy, liberal democracy, electoral democracy, egalitarian democracy. And all these conceptualizations have different effects and different meanings on the lives of the people. So largely, that is one breath. The whole concept of democracy, its meaning, its conceptualization, its typologies, and all that is folded in the typologies, its implication on the way we govern us as people. On the other breath is economic justice, which is very fundamental to our day-to-day living as people. And the question has always been asked whether it is democracy that provides the only conducive environment for economic justice to triumph, or you rather require economic justice for democracy to be sustained. And this particular research has done a lot of justice to this very controversial disintegration or interface between democracy and economic justice. Largely, it does not only deal with the subject in terms of the nuances conceptually, but also practically. It also looks at the vestiges of colonial policy and the impact of colonial policy in sustaining this gap that exists between these two important concepts. And second, it also looks at the importance of socioeconomic development and equality in pro-democratic struggles. Even before the existence of democracy in Africa, there have been a lot of institutions and groups that has been formed to champion the economic interests of their people. And we still even see it in the 21st century. But how have they evolved, and what are the legacies and the impacts that they have to the general welfare and well-being of the people who live under democratic dispensation? It is also a matter of what? Financialization, which is very critical. And you will definitely realize, I think some time back, CDD and then the Open Society did the research work that seeks to measure the amount of money we spend in our day-to-day lives. And to be honest with you, I've experienced it firsthand. From the academia to politician, it's not easy. And it's one of the most serious things that we have to consider in building more inclusive politics moving forward. And I'm so happy that this particular report has actually touched on it and has given it a lot of prominence. Lastly, it's more about deliberative democracy and the impact of the deliberation and even the quality of the people who deliberate in our democracies and its impact on the general uptake of democratic consolidation in the continent. So I think this is not only timely, but it is exhaustive, looking at the very key ingredients that matters to our democratic development, but also to the collective economic justice that is usually lacking in our ability to develop as a continent. And I think this is a new challenge for we in academia to actually look at the implication of this research and how we disseminate it in our classrooms and the kind of motivation it will give to us to try to re-examine the differences, but also the interface between these two very important concepts. It is a new thinking in the discipline of politics, and I do recommend that each one of us get a copy of the report, study it very well, and then let it influence the way we live as people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Alidu. And so I'll now ask Dr. Charles Obike of Ideas to make his remarks.
This book or thesis was in more ways than one a record of his thinking and practice as a leader, seeking to transform a country with large potential by starting at the very bottom of development processes. I have, of course, not read the book because it's in Amharic. Amharic is almost zero. Although I have a copy, but I was privileged to have had several brainstorming discussions with him, some of which I reflected in my tribute to him when he passed, and I would like to draw on some of this. Democratic developmentalism was his attempt to square the perceived tensions between pursuing rapid development, defined as technological progress applied to or arising from value-added production. For a long time, the debate linking the two, development and democracy, and in the case of this book, inclusive development and democracy, was dominated by a binary discourse, with the East Asian developmental state experience and later China being the main theater, contrasted with liberal democracies. It was said that the East Asian countries developed at the expense of democracy. They traded authoritarianism for technological progress, whilst liberal democracies could not do so because democratic checks and balances naturally slowed things down. Therefore, if you wanted to be democratic, you must be ready for slow development, because institution building and checks and balances naturally take time to coalesce. Now, given that Africa is in some transition into liberal democratic states, how could Africa develop without being authoritarian was the main question. This publication we are launching today, I think, is another attempt to square these brackets. How do you develop rapidly without authoritarian methods? Claude Ake, a famous Nigerian political scientist, he published a book in 1996, Democracy and Development in Africa, perhaps one of the first post-Kwame Nkrumah era books on the subject. And he shares a similar political theory as Melis in the understanding of what democracy is. For Ake, for democracy to be meaningful, besides the instrumental practices, and for it to be inclusive and developmental, it must first be pioneered by the working class and undergirded by popular movements. It must be embedded in decentralization and through devolution of power, resources, and capabilities. And the developmental focus must aim at mobilizing local domestic resources. These three strands, power brought about by people's movement, oversighted by critical eyes and voices of people's movements, a decentralization platform for resource mobilization and action, are crucial planks for ensuring not just that the political process is inclusive and accountable, but also that the developmental process will be driven from the bottom up and therefore naturally inclusive, including the benefits of that whole process. The Chinese village enterprises, the Vietnamese rural enterprises are models of such concrete bottom-up examples based on the focus on devolved processes that are also aimed at making development and technology built from the bottom up. This publication points to some of these elements that could further be deepened. Back to Melis. For him, democracy must be developmental also, not just that development must, and that in the sense that the political process must lead to hegemonic obsession for development, not unproductive rent-seeking, what we call grand corruption. Development must be democratic in the sense that it must be driven by and meaningfully impact on the popular classes. In his case, his three popular classes were farmers, urban youth, and women. Those who benefit most will have the most to lose when democracy becomes anti-developmental, and so will sustain the developmentalism by pressure from the bottom up. This dialectical process also ultimately leads to the reduction of economic and income inequalities. Let me end by saying, Ideas and Ideas Africa Network are delighted to be hosting this launch. Let me extend my congratulations to the author and colleague Ndongo Sambasila, perhaps Africa's leading modern monetary theory economist. And if you are interested in modern monetary theory, don't let him walk out of this place without explaining. And to Open Society Foundation for conceiving of the idea, supporting the project, and owning it. We look forward to a productive discussion and to taking some of the conclusions and observations forward. Thank you very much.
Just a minute. Ok, s'il vous plaît, juste une petite annonce. Donc, je suis de l'équipe de l'interprétation. Tous les francophones, vous êtes censés être sur le canal 2 pour recevoir l'interprétation. So please, so Anglophones, whenever a Francophone take the floor, you're supposed to be on channel 1. When you turn on your receiver, you realize that you have an interface. Make sure it's on channel 1. And Francophones are supposed to be on channel 2. Thank you.
I would like to thank Dr. Chukwemeka Eze, Professor Anibu Sedu, and Dr. Charles Ebugre for these opening remarks and for setting the stage for the ensuing discussions. So we've come to the end of this session and we get ready for the next, which is going to be the keynote address.